There's Wayne Harris, the head coach of the Dinos in his 5th year at the helm, but his Dinos, they'll miss the playoffs here in 2022. They're in Saskatoon to take on Scott Flory and the Saskatchewan Huskies, and they're trying to chase a Vanier Cup. Flory also trying to complete the Huskies' 3rd straight perfect season at home. It's the Huskies and the Dinos from Saskatoon on the Canada West Showcase. Great look at Griffith Stadium here in Saskatoon. Perfect Saturday afternoon in late October for the regular season finale. The Saskatchewan Huskies are home to the Calgary Dinos, and for the Huskies, trying to put the wrap on a 3rd straight perfect season at home. And the Calgary Dinos looking ahead to the rebuild. Darren Dupont and 5-year Huskies starter Bryce McCall decked out in the green and white for this one.
Absolutely, yeah. It's 50-year day, so the last regular season game of the season. The 5th years come out individually, and the alumni welcome them and thank them for their commitment to the program.
What do you remember about your time with the Huskies in that 5th-year game?
Yeah, I mean, it's a special night to be able to come out on your own and be appreciated for the commitment and the time that you've put towards the program, and the appreciation of the alumni that, you know, respect what you've done and appreciate what you've done to help build the program and continue that tradition on.
Well, you've laid the groundwork for what the program's doing now, and it's a great regular season for the Huskies. The Huskies and Dinos started the season back in week 1. That was a Saskatchewan win. Since then, Saskatchewan has put 5 more wins on the board. Calgary's done the opposite, 1-6, bookends of the standings. So the Huskies will finish in first. The Dinos will miss the playoffs, and some other action around the Canada West to determine the final playoff spots. But for the Huskies, the heck watch is on for Mason Nias, the Husky quarterback, having a fantastic season, pushing almost 350 yards on average per game, #1 in the country, and he's tracking down some Husky history this afternoon too.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he's chasing a couple legends there in Husky history, and we'll chat about that a little bit more throughout the game. But, you know, this season he's been the epitome of consistency with this young group around him. He's limited his mistakes and turnovers, and one thing that's not going to show up on the stat sheet, although he's put up great stats, is his leadership and his ability to lead this group. In that UBC game, we saw him lead them down the field at the end of the game, provide that great leadership. And like I said, I can't harp on this enough. This is a young group. You know, this isn't the group with Clausen and Baker and those 3 big offensive linemen, right? This is a young group, and he's doing a great job leading them.
#1 offense in the country, and you have a young group. How about the Calgary Dinos? That's a young group, losing the Philpott twins on offense. They lose their quarterback in Joseph, and but this young group is finding their way.
Yeah, you know what? They're getting better. They need to work on their consistency, but this coaching staff is very veteran. This is the right group to lead these guys. And, you know, not only are they young at quarterback, they're young almost everywhere. So they got some room to grow. They got 92 first and second year players. So this team has a lot of potential and a lot of ability to grow. Make no mistake about it, this isn't a 1-year thing. This will take a couple years to build and improve, and they're going to need to keep adding pieces as they go to improve this team to get it to where it's been in the past.
Last time the Calgary Dinos missed the playoffs in back-to-back seasons was 05-06. It took them 2 years. They were back in the Hardy Cup, winning their first of what was 6 in a row. So it doesn't take this program a long time to turn it around.
Yeah, no, Darren, I don't want to talk about it. That was all my time. So that's not a stat I love, but you're exactly right. I mean, they have the ability to do this. It takes rebuilding. It takes a great coaching staff, and I think they have a great coaching staff there. that's ready to do this, and they're trying to help these young players and put the best players in the position to succeed, and that's super important. So I think the first piece is in the puzzle as far as coaching staff, and they'll keep building.
All right, we'll put a wrap on the regular season this afternoon from Saskatoon and get set for the Hardy Cup playoffs starting next week. Yeah, great day. The Tooks are out, but so is the sun. It'll continue to get a lot warmer. Dinos and Huskies from Saskatoon on the Canada West Showcase. Kickoff is next. Little bit of wind, up to 30 kilometers an hour, but a sunny day, 7 degrees, expected to get up to 13 or 14 this afternoon here in Saskatoon. Great day for football. Got the Tooks out, and Scott Flory, the head coach of the Huskies, in his 4th year, 6-1 record after winning the Hardy Cup last year, trying to get the Huskies all the way back towards the Hardy Cup and look to get back to the Vanier and take it one step further this season. And trying to wrap up a perfect home record here for a 3rd consecutive year. The 2 quarterbacks this afternoon will be Mason Nias and Matteo Spolatini. Daniel Sananes not here and traveling with the Dinos, beat up last week, and so he's at home resting this week. And Spolatini looking to throw his first touchdown pass of the season. Meanwhile, Mason Nias, he has been splendid. 15 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. Trying to put a stranglehold on the Heck Creighton conversation, and there he is, Bryce, and what a season it's been for Nias.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's done a great job in leading this young group, and they've done a good job of coming along with him throughout the process here, and this is going to be exciting to watch him, finish this game and then go into the playoffs here and see what the history writes for Mason Nias.
Well, 5th-year quarterback, and the rookie or the 2nd-year quarterback in Spolatini on the other side, but you lose Sam Baker, Colton Clausen, Adam Mackhart, and then you have your best season as a Husky.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's what's so impressive about this whole situation, I think, is that he has done exactly that. He's taken this young group, he's put the ball on them, and they've just done a great job. I can't commend him enough. In his early years, I thought at times he struggled with consistency, and this last year and this year he's just done a great job in improving that and providing that for the Huskies and for Coach Flory in this offense to be able to work around him. He's done a great job.
The Dinos will get the football to start this game today. Isaac Mimobola and Isaac Athens back to take the kick. And Amambola will take it up across the 25-yard line, and that's where the offense will take the field for the Calgary Dinos. No Daniel Sananes for the Dinos here this week. It's Matteo Spolatini leading the offense out onto the field. That young offensive line with 2 first-year starters on the inside of that offensive line, and Chris Pashula and Braden Zeman. So you look at the offensive starters for the Dinos.
And, well, he's got a couple weapons there, especially in Desjardins at wide receiver. He's got a couple other receivers, and they're becoming stronger out of the backfield. So I think this offense needs to start strong with the running game and get that going to allow a little more time.
Spolatini, his first pass attempt is into the dirt, looking for Gob Dang. And for the Huskies on their defense, Catley Joseph is out. Gets the rest here this week for Saskatchewan, so Cam Skinner gets the start at corner. And look at that defense that's been very good.
Yeah, that's a strong front 7 up there. That's where the strength of this defense comes from, is that front 7 and how they're able to put pressure on the quarterback and create and make plays up there. So continue to watch them as they come after Spolatini here.
Draw play to Matthew Clark. There's a little bit of a hole. And finally, Lane Novak will come up with the stop, the 2nd-year linebacker.
Oh, Darren, I love me a good draw play every now and again. That gets me excited. Great Great call by the Dinos here, and Clark just finds his way to weave through there. And I think they've really found something with Clark here. He's a good shifty back, and he gets upfield quickly. And, when you get a defensive line that starts really pushing forward and creating vertical seams, it's going to allow a shifty back to get through there and explode through the hole, and that's exactly what Clark did.
Well, early on, we've got a third down gamble. It's 3rd and almost 2 yards here for the Dinos. Spolatini back to pass. He's under pressure, and he's brought down. Connor Delahaye with the sack.
And, I'm not sure about that call going for it on 3rd down there. This early in the game, you got a young team, and it looked like he didn't have his guy open there, and the Huskies are coming after you on third and short. They're going to come after you, and they're going to leave the back end in man-to-man coverage, and it just took a little bit too long for that play to progress and for Spolatini to get that ball out. Anytime you're on a 3rd and short, you need to get that ball out quickly.
So the Huskies, can't give them too many great opportunities. They're inside the 30 for their first possession. Nias will hand the football off to Riker Frank, who's back in the lineup after missing last week. And you look at those Saskatchewan starters on offense. Frank is back in the backfield, but this is the offense they'll likely go into the playoffs with.
You betcha. Yeah, this is, they've progressed with this group, and they've done a good job of improving this group as the season has gone on. And these young receivers are doing a better and better job. Frank has done a great job out of the backfield, especially 2 weeks ago. He did a great job, and last week he had a bit of a vacation there, and we'll see if he comes back refreshed. 8
yards on 1st down for Riker Frank. Everett Iverson also into the offense now, and the starter at wide out is Nias to the end zone. That's going to fall incomplete, looking for Daniel Perry.
And on this one, the Dinos decide to bring a blitz, and the Huskies man Mason Nias saw it, and his young receiver just didn't get his eyes back soon enough. You can see Mason wants to get that ball out quickly and get it up, and just didn't quite connect. I think that was with Mr. I'm trying to find where his name is. Perry, I think, correct?
That's right.
Mr. Perry?
It was.
So, he's just, maybe Mason could put that ball a bit higher and allow him to run under it a little bit more when the blitz is coming.
Huskies with a 3rd down gamble now as Ted Kabongo checks in for Iverson. Play action, and there's Kabongo. The swing pass, and he'll be brought down quickly by Matthew Lecision, the 5th-year free safety. It was very close to a 1st down, but they'll give it to the Huskies.
And that's 5th-year Matt Lecision, who comes up with a good tackle there. And that's a great little play by the Huskies, and Lecision just comes downfield and takes down Kabongo, who's not a small man to take down. That's a nice tackle, and comes in strong there. He's been a huge player for this Dino defense throughout his time here, and they've used him in multiple positions.
Fresh set of downs for the Huskies. Nias coming into the season, 17 touchdowns, 2 back. The lead in the country, trying to put one on the board here to the end zone, and that's going to fall incomplete. That's out of the reach of Daniel Weeb, who had his first touchdown reception of the season in the loss to UBC a week ago.
Yeah, and I like that call, Darren, going towards the end zone. The Huskies have struggled in the red zone in putting up touchdowns and not settling for field goals. So I like them attacking this and trying to get that touchdown. And, if they're going to go into the playoffs here, they need to do a better job in the red zone of capitalizing and getting 7, not taking 3.
Cody Gutek comes into the football game for the Huskies. Nias under a little pressure now to the end zone, and it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Daniel Perry. Good coverage from Deacon Taylor Young of the Dinos. And now we'll see the field goal unit come out.
And that was a very similar play to earlier, where they saw the blitz coming and Mason tried to get that ball out down the middle of the field and get it to Perry. And that's just a great job by number 5, getting in there, getting that ball out of his hands. Perry had it in his hands, but good job attacking it and ripping that ball out. That's a huge play for Taylor Young, and that saves 7 off the board. And again, the Huskies are settling, Darren.
David Soley, 80% on field goals here on the year. This from 26 yards out, and it's good.
Yeah, this has got to be a bit of a concern, Darren, that this continual thing of settling for 3 and not being able to finish. It's sorry to cut you off there, but
no, you're right.
Mason Nyes has how many touchdowns, but they've left so many on the board.
I'm glad you brought that up. The Huskies are just 52% converting touchdowns in the red zone.
That's not good enough. If you're going to win the Hardy and you want to advance to the Vanier Cup, Darren, you know that's not good enough.
So something that the Huskies will need to work on is, putting 7 points on the board in the red zone.
2 good opportunities there. They just didn't capitalize. Couldn't haul it in.
So from the 35, second possession here for the Calgary Dinos. They'll hand this football off to Clark. Cam Skinner will come up and make the tackle. And a gain of 4 yards. A gain of maybe a yard.
Great job by the Huskies pursuing and filling to the ball. You'll see Clark here running horizontal, and the Huskies do a great job. And then Cam Skinner comes up and fills that tackle and makes a good play there. That's a top-notch play. Cornerback stepping up and tackling a shifty running back in space.
Well, actually, Markham is a short loss on the play.
A lot of running for not a lot of yards, Aaron.
I tell you. Clark still in the backfield here on 2nd and long. 3 receivers out to the right now for Spolatini, who looks that way. Looking deep down the middle of the field, and that pass is broken up by Nixon Vole, trying to find Dante Carbone down the middle of the field.
And that's a great play. I think we might see a bit of a tug here by the Huskies and might have got away with one early, and then he comes over top and does a great job. But about 3 steps before the ball gets there, there's a slight tug, and that's a great play by Vole, and I think he sneaks away with one there, as every good DB does. Get away with one of those here and there. You gotta cheer on. Put one up for the good guys. So.
Well, Chris McLean, one of the top punters in the country, number 2 in the country, averaging 45 yards a punt out of Brampton, Ontario, gets a good one away here. This will be forced back inside the 20. A little bit of room out to the left, up across the 30 to 35. And finally dragging that pile all the way to the 40-yard line as we go down to the field. And welcome in the 3rd member of our crew this afternoon, and say hi to Matt Young.
Yeah, thanks, Darren. Of course, you and Bryce were talking earlier about the opportunities for Mason Nyes to reach a milestone, but the playoffs are already decided, at least for the Huskies. They've got number 1 locked up, so how long can we expect Mason Nyes and their starters to play? Well, I asked Scott Flory that this week, and he was keeping his cards pretty close to the vest on that one, not really revealing a lot, except to say that it's going to depend on how the game and the circumstances go. We also talked to head coach Wade Harris from the Calgary Dinos about how long his starters would play and what he wants to get from this game in terms of seeing some future stars. He was a little tight-lipped on that as well. So even though the playoffs might be decided as far as the standings goes, both of these teams still being quite tactical with their lineups. Guys?
Awesome stuff, Matt. Appreciate that. Yeah, 2 other games happening today, later on this afternoon, starting in about 45 minutes. The Rams home to the Manitoba Bisons. Alberta home to UBC. That game should be underway as well. If it's not, very shortly, and first down carry goes for a couple.
And it's good, Darren, for them to get into a good routine here of pounding Riker Frank down, getting some yards, and really get this offensive line rolling before playoffs start here. You always want to go to playoffs on a nice roll, feeling good, playing well, and so it's important for them to get that push and that front moving forward and really set the tone to go into the playoffs here.
4-yard gain on first down for Riker Frank. Brings up a passing situation here for Nyes, and he'll sling this to the outside. That's caught by Daniel Perry, and a first down after a gain of 8.
And that's Jason Biggs on the coverage there, who's been a solid player for them throughout the years, and he's done a great job. And I believe this will be his last game as a Dino here, and he'll see about his potential futures. But they've moved him around, and he often ends up having to play on best receivers or elite level athletes that are coming out on the offensive side. You know, Deshaun Mims type of athletes who can really stretch the field, and then also guys who are quick and can move the ball on the ground once they get it. So he's a dual threat kind of defensive player that you don't find very often.
Biggs was locked in on Daniel Weave on that play. It's Daniel Perry with a first down reception.
And we'll see if he gets quite a bit of action today on potentially his last outing here. And between Biggs and Lecision, that's a lot of leadership between the two of them. They've done, the Dinos have relied on them big time as far as leadership goes and teaching these young guys on this defense, what they need to do to be successful. They've had success. They know what it looks like, and they're going to do their best here to try and finish off this season and showing them the way.
Yeah, you talk about Biggs and Lecision being gone, playing their final game this afternoon. The handoff here to Riker. Frankie finds a hole up on the left-hand side, and it's a gain of 26 yards for Riker Frank on the first down carry.
And this is good old Saskatchewan football here, Darren. Just pounding Riker Frank down, and he punches through the line. This is what he does so well. He finds that hole, he sees it, cuts up, follows his own line, and then away he goes, and he just bumps it out. And he's a tough guy to tackle. He's a thick mammer jammer, as they would say. And there's Lecision coming in, and we're going to see Lecision getting a lot of tackles today, I think. As the ball starts to move into the second level, especially running backs, he comes around and he cleans it all up and makes tackles, and a lot of them.
So now to the left side, another carry for Riker Frank. This time brought down pretty quickly by Oda Wingy.
Yeah, and that's just a great tackle. That's, Riker Frank likes to do the stiff arm there, as we've seen in the last couple plays here, and that's just a great tackle, grabbing on and not refusing to let go. So this Dino defense has a lot of potential, and they have a lot of young guys who are going to be contributors, and they're going to need to add more pieces and keep adding and keep getting better if they want to get back to where they were before.
So 2nd and 8 now for Saskatchewan on the 42-yard line. Nice back to pass, looking left, and tripping up on the play was Daniel Perry. Lost his footing, and it falls incomplete, so it brings up 3rd down.
And the Huskies are showing a little bit of motion here in the backfield to try and move the Dinos around, to see, by moving motion in the backfield, it allows you to see who is covering who, and in this case, they could see that the Dinos were in a lot of man-to-man coverage up front, so Nice just wanted to get rid of the ball real quick here. So
be a 49-yard field goal attempt. David Soley's long 44, so they elect to punt here, and he'll drop this out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Well, the 19, so just inside the 20 for Soley.
And Darren, impressive start to the game, I think, for the Dino defense here. A bend not break, situation. What they've, considering the field position they've been put in, and that's a good start for the Dinos, I think. We'll see if the Huskies D can match that. Just
3 points on the board early on here for the Huskies. This Dinos team has come a long way after that Week 1 loss, 44-5. The Huskies beat the Dinos in Calgary in Week 1. Here's a great stop by John Stoll getting into the backfield on Matthew Clark.
And he can tackle. He's got a couple interceptions, but he also comes up, and that's just a great open field tackle. He just comes up relentless, grabs on, and puts them down for a loss here. It looks like we might have a flag. There's probably a holding in the midst of that O-line somewhere, but that's just a great job by Stoll coming down with a bit of anger and a bit of desire to drive that back. And he's been a good surprise, I think, a bit for them this year, and how well he's progressed. And anytime you get a linebacker who can catch, that's pretty special, Darren.
How many interceptions in your career? There's a few.
There's a few, yeah, there's a few. A lot of good teammates around me. They threw at the weakest guy, and I was the weakest guy. So
yeah, I don't know about that. Spolatini back to throw here. First down finds Matson Tulloch. That's going to be a short loss on the play. Again, good coverage, Cam Skinner.
And that's a long throw to make for not a lot of yards there, Darren. That's a Spolatini kind of checking down to his one of his later check-ons, and he'll let that ball go. But boy, that's a long throw. And the Huskies coming. They're we're gonna see them trying to hit Spolatini all day, and they're not gonna slow down. I can imagine defensive coordinator Warren Muzica will, as he subs guys in, will continue to dial things up and not pull back the horses.
So another punting situation here for Calgary. This will force Vavra back inside the 40. It'll fall out of bounds. So another good punt here, but The offense will take the field. Decent field position. You talk about Calgary. You know, they dropped that week 1 game in Saskatchewan 44-5. Since then, just one loss of 12 or more points. So they've been able to, despite having a young group, they've been able to stay in games.
Yeah, and that's important. You know, once you start getting, you know, put out of games, that's when guys start to lose interest. Guys start going off and doing their own thing. Keeping these games interesting and keeping them in the games will help improve these guys faster than if you're getting blown out. So it's super important that they continue to improve. And like you said, they've done a good job throughout the year. They've dealt with some issues. Everybody does. But, you know, they just got to keep improving.
Nice, looking for Daniel Perry in double coverage with Biggs and Tyrese Bristol in the vicinity, but it falls incomplete over the head.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to Perry quite a bit here early on to maybe get him the ball and get him in a rhythm here before playoffs. And that's just a good ball up into the outside. Good job by the Dinos, doing a great job of clamping down from the top and then underneath as well, and making that a difficult throw, you know, for Mason Nias. So that ball's in a good spot, though. I mean, it's better out and away than in a spot where one of the Dinos can take it.
Slow start for Mason Nias. This defense has done a pretty good job as that pass on second down is in and out of the hands of Caleb Morin, and a 2-and-out here for the Dinos defense.
And it seemed like the Huskies are maybe they took the week off a little bit early here. They need to kind of get things rolling here as the Dinos are doing a good job of getting after them.
So the Dinos hold. They'll get the football back here as the Huskies solely punts into the wind, trying to bring this to the outside. No room there. Good special teams tackle up across the 35 to the 37-yard line.
And 10 minutes in here to the game, and the Huskies up only 3-0, but having way better field position. You know, the Dinos have done a good job, like we said. Bend, don't break, and we'll see if their offense can move the ball down the field and continue to improve this field position battle. Spallettini's done a good job so far in getting that ball out, but, you know, I'd like to see them push the ball downfield. I'd like to see them throw the ball towards the middle of the field a little bit more. Maybe pass it to Clark out of the backfield and just really try and open things up.
Spallettini will hand the football off here. A little bit of room for Clark, who works forward for a gain of 7 on first down.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think they found something with Clark here, and they've done a good job of getting him into space, and he does a good job getting forward, and good job putting his head down there. For smaller running backs, sometimes they'll try to dance too much, and he does clearly a good job there. He found how far he thought he was going to get, put his head down, continue to get some yards, and make it a 2nd and short here. And I'd love to see the Dinos, you know, take a shot here, Darren, and then, you know, with a 2nd and short, maybe try and put the ball downfield.
Well, Spallettini, as the backfield empties out, he is going to throw, and he's under pressure. And Carson Bell's got him wrapped up, but he finds a way to muscle through the tackle and throw it away. It'll bring up 3rd down here in a decision for Wayne Harris.
Carson Bell fighting through and working his way down. The big fella making his way down. Spallettini, that's a big guy to tackle, and obviously, you know, he does a pretty good job of kind of holding his feet. Great job by Bell, getting his hands up, not jumping. If you jump, sometimes the quarterback will duck under you, and he just does a good job getting his hands up and then grabs on. And boy, I wouldn't want his hands on me, Darren.
Carson Bell, 6'3", 275, gets right into the backfield, and the Dinos do elect to punt here as they try and scrape a little field position back. It's Chris McLean. Not his best punt of the afternoon, but gets a favorable bounce forward. It'll go out of bounds the 14-yard line. And so pushing the Huskies back slowly, and Mason Nias will have to start from inside their own 15.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can get something going here, Darren. It seems like they're kind of starting a bit slow. This isn't probably how you want to start the game, and it'd be good to see them get the ball rolling, get that ball out, create a couple quick passes, create some completions, and kind of get things rolling here, and maybe allow them to run the ball as well. Once they really open up that passing game, forces defenses to back off and allows more running lanes.
Ted Kabongo now into the game in the backfield. He'll take the carry, cut back to the middle, and he'll move forward for a gain of 16 yards on a 1st down handoff.
Big play, Teddy. Darren, I'm telling you, he every time he touches the ball, he seems to take it for a distance. So and it never hurts to see him dance. He when he gets a big play, I like when he tosses a little dance in there at the end. So we'll see if the Huskies continue to kind of run with him here on this series and kind of spark things a little bit. He's a little more shifty than Riker is, I think, at times, in his ability to pass through the line.
Well, they'll give him the football again. He'll move to the right-hand side and cut back before being brought down on the play. So Kabongo, another gain of 5 yards on the first down carry.
Yeah, and he's lethal out of the backfield, Darren. So it'll be interesting to see as they go here to see if they try and get him that ball out of the backfield or swing past him a bit and try and get him into space.
Kabongo, 238 yards on the ground and a couple of carries. He's also caught 16 passes for 157 yards and another couple of touchdowns. So, well, he doesn't start in the backfield, a big weapon for Scott Fleury's offense. Now he'll take it to the left-hand side. He's got the first down after a gain of 7 yards on the inside counter.
And it seems like the Huskies are getting back to that bit of ground and pound here, Darren, to kind of spark things and to get things moving. They're subbing quite a few guys in and out. I see fullback number 35 coming into the game here, Cody Gutek. And I know they like to swing him out on passes and stuff as well after they've run the ball a bit here. So we'll see if they kind of utilize him in that aspect. They're going to put him at tight end on the short side of the field there.
Another carry for Kabongo. As the Huskies are keeping it on the ground, making a gain of 8 yards for Ted Kabongo, who's now touched the football 4 straight times.
Yeah, and that's just a great job by the Huskies getting pushed. You can see the big fella, number 64, getting up and leading into that hole, and that's just a great job. That's the ground and pound you gotta start with, and I think the Huskies probably wish they had done a better job earlier in the game, but now it looks like they're getting to it, and the Dinos need to try and stop the bleeding here a little bit, and they're going to stack the box a little bit, it looks like right now, and really try and shut this run down.
Second down and a yard. They'll give Kabongo 9 on the first down carry. He gets to the outside, but he's tripped up. Great defensive stop by Oyasoro, the fourth-year inside linebacker. And that'll be right near the first down stick. I think they're going to force the Huskies into a third down here.
And just a great job using his speed to get by the O-lineman and then create contact and try and trip it up. And that's just a great job. He snuck through the line there. And this Dinos front seven is young, and they're improving steadily. And they've done a good job throughout, kind of stopping the run and the pass kind of equally. So they don't really have any spots where they're real weak or teams have really destroyed them on. They've just kind of done a good job all around and trying to limit the... oh, and Darren, we got a close one.
That's going to be a little short.
Yeah.
That'll bring up third down.
Just like my hair, Darren.
Nice and tight.
Yeah, not nice and flowy like yours, that's for sure.
Well, we got to compliment each other, right? We got to compliment each other. So it'll be third down when you've got Ted Kabongo and Riker Frank available. Kabongo 4 carries, 38 yards in the first quarter. Riker Frank 4 for 36, and they bring in Ethan Watson, short yardage quarterback. Yeah,
they tend to like to utilize him in those capacities, don't they, Darren? With kind of that short yardage option. He's got bit of athletic ability that Mason Nias maybe doesn't hone. So we'll see what they do here if they actually hand it off. With Gutek at fullback here, we'll see if they can push the pile.
So Watson under center. He's got to pick up about 3 inches. He's got about 3 or 4 yards on the third down carry. That'll move the chains and give Mason Nias a fresh set of downs.
Yeah, and that's good on short yardage. You want to have that confidence in your team to be able to get that, that yard or 2 yards when it comes down to it, because in those playoff games, it's so crucial that you capitalize on those and make sure you keep the ball, whether that's, trying to push downfield on a game-winning drive or just trying to hold on to the ball so the other team doesn't have that opportunity.
Well, the Huskies on the move through 1 quarter of play here at Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon, and a slim 3-0 lead over Calgary on the Canada West Showcase.
started. Let's go.
Darren Bryce, of course, a lot of talk about the Huskies offense, but with the playoffs ahead, this is a well-rounded defensive team, too. One guy to look out for, Lane Novak. He made an impact in the postseason last year with an interception against Manitoba. He's been in on a few tackles today, leads the team in tackles. He says when he first met Scott Flory during the recruiting process, the words that came to mind, wow, he is smart when it comes to football. He says Flory happened to pop by his house because he happened to be in the area. He said the two talked football during the recruiting process, but also said Flory was also interested in him as a person a lot. And he says that's a common trait on this team. They view each other as more than just football players. Flory says he worked hard to recruit Novak. He says he's very impressed with his awareness. Novak is a second-year guy if you take away the COVID year. So you can expect we may be talking about Novak more with the playoffs coming and for some seasons to come. Guys?
Great stuff, Matt. Lane Novak out of White City, the second-year outside linebacker. He is second in the conference in tackles. One of the leaders on that defense. He's up with the front seven, Bryce. I mean, this front seven of the Huskies, there are weapons all over the place. The Huskies on the move here. Daniel Weeb with the reception, and he'll turn and burn upfield. Up across the 30, down to the 27-yard line, and for Mason Nias, the opening quarter is 3 of 9 for 21 yards. So good start to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, great
or
start.
Second quarter, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll take a quick look at Cabot one maybe. Nope, we're not taking a quick look there. But Dan Weeb had a great screen passer. The Huskies were able to swing it out, get some blocking up front, and Daniel Weeb just cut it upfield and took some good yardage there. We'll see if with the Dinos bringing so many guys in the front and in that front seven and stacking the box to see if they start trying to get that ball out quick to the sidelines to give their playmakers an opportunity to make plays. But Daniel Weeb, not a small guy. I think that guy hasn't skipped bicep day in a couple of years, that's for sure.
Weeb, the second-year wideout out of Saskatchewan. And six receptions for 133 yards and a touchdown last week. So.
And Darren, if we can get a replay on that again, you'll see some of those big fella offensive linemen running out there. And I can tell you as a defensive back, that is not what you want to see when you get your head up and you're looking. As you'll see here, big offensive linemen running out there. And I'll tell you what, that is scary, Darren. That is scary.
Great job slowing it down, guys. Yeah, you see the two guys out there with speed. You get the engines moving.
Oh yeah, that's not a train you want to get in front of, Darren. That's
no. Happy to be up here.
Yeah, always afternoon. As a DB, you always just try and take that out low and chop it down and get those guys on the ground and just try and create a pile.
Saskatchewan on the move now. First down. Kabongo in the backfield, but it's Nias to pass. He's going to sling this up over the middle, looking to the end zone. Incomplete, looking for Caleb Morin as Jacob Biggs was in tight coverage.
But Darren, I love this. I love how Nias is attacking in the middle of the field. When the Dinos are bringing it up front, as you can see there, they got a bunch of guys blitzing. He's attacking the middle of the field, and that's exactly where you want to go when the other team is blitzing. Right up the middle is you want to attack the middle of the field, get that ball up, and hope your receivers can run under it. I really like what Nias is attacking right now, and you know, this is a bit of that young receiver, you know, quarterback, you know, not having had 5 years together, right? So that's where they need to work on connecting here on some of those.
Dinos bring 6. Nias finds Weeb, and he's got a first down to the 5-yard line. Late flag on the play. And sorry, Daniel Perry with the reception.
That's nice to get him the ball and get a catch in early because, you know, I think we saw three 3 or so passes earlier in the game where they weren't able to connect. So that's an important relationship, we'll say, Darren, that needs to get off to a good start and continue to progress today to make sure they go into the playoffs on a high note.
Look at the call on this flag. It was in the middle of that Calgary defensive secondary.
Well, there's a conversation happening there, Darren. Mason looks like he's just listening, hearing what's going on. Always hard to tell what that conversation is. Yeah, and it's an extended conversation. So the Huskies to have a first down up at the 4-yard line. And this is big, Darren, right now. This is them pushing that ball down and really trying to get these 7 points and not settling for the 3s again. Because that, as we talked about earlier, you got to be able to do that when you're in a tight game. You got to be able to get the 7s, not the 3s, and so that's important. 7s as in touchdowns, not field goals. Sorry, I should clarify that. Here's the call.
We have offensive pass interference on the offense. That's a 15-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
Well, as a DB, Darren, I am thrilled to hear that penalty. As a Husky fan, I'm probably not. You don't get many of those. No, exactly. So you'll see just in the right corner here, just upfield there, blocking before the receiver caught the ball, and so you can't do that. So that's what they were calling him. I didn't see quite which receiver it was. I think it was Morin on Biggs, but you can't block downfield until the ball is caught, and so that's what that penalty would have been for. See Mason Nyes doing a nice little screen pass here to Kabongo, and whoa, Darren takes a bit of a shot. Yeah, that's a bit of a pop by number 41, Rasmussen, bringing some contact here, and that's always exciting to see. See the big fellas out in space again that do a good job, but that's the thing, Darren. Once those big fellas get in space, they can crush you, but you can give them a little juke here and there and get around them a little bit easy at times. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there, getting those big fellas out in space. So the Huskies attempting not to go for the field goal. Be about a 42 or 43. This is well within David Soley's range, but the wind has shifted a little bit, and this is kind of into the wind, so they're going to elect a punt here from Soley. With some pressure in his face, he'll get this to the sideline. It'll go out of bounds. And where are they going to mark it? It'll be somewhere down near the 15 or 20-yard line, and we'll go downstairs and join Matt Young once again. Matt?
Well, Darren, you've mentioned his name a couple of times. Matthew Clark, running back for the Calgary Dinos, number 28. First-year running back. I asked Coach Harris about him. He says that he has a really bright future. Why? He says he has a great attitude, always positive, always smiling. Says he's got a lot of speed. Wouldn't mind if he put on a little more size. He said he had a breakout game against UBC earlier this year, rushing for over 200 yards, proving he's got the goods. And with experience, he's only going to get better. Guys?
Yeah, absolutely will get better. Off to a great start. Appreciate that, Matt. Draw play here on first down. A little bit of room for Matthew Clark, and he's got 4 yards in the first down carry. And an interesting little move here, Darren, by the Dinos coaching staff is what they're going to do is they're going to bring their receivers up to kind of the line, like they're going to snap the ball, they're going to stop, see what kind of defense the Huskies are playing, and then they're going to go back, reset, and then adjust and to go from there. So we'll see if they continue to do that. Some teams tend to do this to see if there's anyone blitzing, and if it is, they try and change their play or adjust to what's going on from the defense, and the defense will continue that chess match game and try and adjust what they're doing. Spolatini rolls out of the pocket, and that pass incomplete. Nixon Vole breaks it up, looking for Dante Carbone on the near side. It'll fall incomplete, and it will bring up third down on the punt unit for Calgary. And I like what we're seeing here, Darren, from Spolatini. He rolls out to his right, puts that ball in a great spot, and his receiver's just not able to pull it down. But that ball's in a great spot. Spolatini on the run, right by the sideline, and you got to hope your receivers reel that in for you and make a big play. That's a good ball from Spolatini, though, and hopefully he continues to progress and make solid throws like that. So Calgary will punt here early in the second quarter. Rhett Vavra is back to return the kick. Standing at the Husky 40-yard line. Good punt, high in the air, forces Vavra all the way back to the Husky 25. And he's wrapped up. There's a flag on the play. And finally down around the 29-yard line. So we'll see what the flag is. Likely will push the Huskies back even more here.
Yeah, that was a blocking from behind, Darren. It was pretty evident, and that's pretty hard. And I think the Huskies special teams won't be too happy about that. Number 33 right there. He just gets the back of 41, and you just can't do that on a return. You're better off to just leave that guy and hope you return it and give him a little
10-yard
juke.
penalty, first down.
And it's just, yeah, it's not worth the penalty, Darren. That one you could definitely do without, and that's a big, that's a good swing of field position change, and we'll see if the Huskies can make that back up here.
Some work to do for Mason Nias. 5 of 12, slow start for him. 54 yards through the air here thus far. And first down handoff is to Kabongo, and he's met by the left side of that defense. Sabomi Oyasoro is in on the tackle as well for Calgary.
Yeah, and funny that you say that, Darren. For most people that wouldn't be a slow start, but for Mason Nias, that's definitely on the slower side. And if you extrapolate that out, that's 200 yards on the day, which is where a lot of the teams are at averaging, and so it's funny that we're saying that's a slow start for him based on his numbers that he's put together so far this year.
Yeah, Nias' pace is 345 yards a game. So he's not in that pace yet. He had 441 yards last week. This will help. Finds Daniel Perrier, swings past Biggs, and he's up across the 50-yard line. So call it a gain of 30 yards on the ground on the pitch and catch from Nias to Perry, and a first down for Saskatchewan.
And what a move by Perry there. You see him just stick his foot in the ground, swing back, and go all the way the other way. That's a great job. Kabongo saying, I see you. I see you. I see what you're doing out there. So that's great. Obviously Perry, when he catches the ball, he's pretty good at getting yards after catch, and that's a nice move that he added into the repertoire there.
Nias now swings it out, finds Vavra, his first reception of the game. Vavra muscles his way forward, and a gain of 11. So back-to-back receptions for the Huskies offense, and Vavra's got a first down for the Huskies.
We'll take a little look at the passing leaders of the Canada West here. You obviously see Nias at the top. Hetlinger from U of A, who's been hurt here just as of recently, but he's done a great job. Catelier, you always expect him near the top, Darren, and it's 2 old guys and 4 young guys out there, so it's an interesting group.
Veterans are leading the way, yes, but you can see the next group, the next wave.
And one in there that I find a bit shocking, Darren, I'm not going to lie, how far down he is his list, is Rooker. Rooker came in with a great rookie campaign at UBC, and I almost feel like he's been in a bit of a sophomore slump here. That first bit before he got hurt against the U of S, he was doing a great job and really kind of adding on to that rookie season. But, I think he had a bit of a sophomore slump at the beginning of the season. And that UBC team, I feel like, is lethal. And they do have the ability and capacity to be able to really challenge some of the better teams in this conference.
Well, Isaiah Knight, the leading rusher in the conference for UBC, and they're maybe peaking at the right time, but they're headed to the playoffs. You talk about Rooker, who had a really good rookie season and hopes to build off of that. Des Catelier, a veteran. He's now got Manitoba back into a playoff position as well, pending the results of their game in Regina and Alberta's game at UBC this afternoon. Yeah,
some good storylines, Darren, in there. That's for sure. It's good to see teams peaking at the end here, and Des is going to play well at the playoffs. He always finds a way to get the job done and play well. So that one will be interesting to watch. And yeah, UBC, a lot of weapons there. And that defense, has the capacity and potential at times to play really well and provide big stops.
Nowhere to go for Kabongo, just a small gain on the play.
Yeah, Hetlinger, what a great story for U of A. For so long they've struggled to try and find, consistency at that quarterback position. And, I think they found it here with him, and I think they're pretty excited about that if they can get him back in the lineup here.
A holding penalty here will push the Huskies back, so it will be second down and long. But you're right, Eli Hetlinger, before he got hurt, one of the conference leaders, one of the leaders in the country throwing the football. He was second only to Mason Nias in yards. was throwing touchdown passes, and him and Colby Herford had found a chemistry with the deep ball, and Chevy Thomas for everything underneath. They had started to build a real pass attack, which we haven't seen in Alberta.
Peterson and Rosary, two great players. So I mean, they got some good athletes and some good stars there that they're going to continue to build off of, and it's exciting to see this in Canada West. The skilled players and the play that's coming up, and like we talked about, this is a conference with 4 young quarterbacks, 2 guys in their 5th year, Des Catelier and Mason Nias, but the other teams have a quarterback in their 1st or 2nd year that are getting major playing time here, and it's exciting to watch, and it'll be good to watch these guys grow, and this is going to be a competitive conference.
It's a 2nd and long here for the Huskies after a short loss in the Daniel Perry sweep play. So Nias back to throw. He'll swing it out, trying to find Iverson. It's batted off of one hand and incomplete, almost picked. So
yeah,
we'll bring up 3rd down and a punting situation here for the Huskies. But when's the last time we were talking about Alberta? Well, let's look at the play here.
Yeah, that's a dangerous one if the DB catches that on the run, but that ball's just too far behind. I think Mason Nias thought Iverson was maybe going to sit down on that a little bit earlier, and he just kind of rounded the route a little bit longer, and clearly a miscommunication there.
This will go out of bounds right around the 20-yard line. We talk about when's the last time we've been talking about the Alberta Golden Bears, and we just rifled through 4 or 5 offensive weapons that they have. Usually we talk about their offensive defensive lines, their linebackers, but now they're starting to become more of a potent offense.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, if they can just find someone to get them the ball, and that's kind of what it's been with Hetlinger so far, is kind of that young quarterback figuring out what they can do, and they've done a good job of kind of prepping him to sling the rock, and hopefully they can get him back in the rotation here, because he's definitely making them a contender when he's in there and playing.
Matthew Clark will take the handoff here for Calgary. He's got some room on the outside and has a gain of 5 yards.
Nice tackle by, I think that's Ramsey Durbis there, making a big play, scraping along, and Clark just doing a great job reading, and Ramsey Durbis just coming in there and dragging him down. But that's a great job by Clark. As Maddie had mentioned, he looks like the future, Darren. I think that's a bright spot for this Calgary team is, once he does put on some of that weight, height's not an issue. I feel like Mackert broke that wall down.
Yeah.
Saying, it doesn't matter the height. If that guy's got the skill, put him in and let him go. So it'll be exciting to watch him continue to progress.
This time nowhere to go. John Stoll was in the backfield on the stop. Matthew Clark, first-year running back out of Brantford, Ontario. 71 carries, 379 yards on the season. It's a great rookie campaign for Clark. Yeah,
outstanding rookie campaign. I mean, when you consider, what he's up against in the Canada West and how good these defenses are, I mean, it's, that's not an easy task. And I mean, he hasn't been, the starter from the beginning. So, I mean, he's put these numbers up over the course of time through, playing through committee and that kind of thing. So it's impressive to watch him, especially in the last couple weeks here, really improve and get in a groove.
Well, and have an opportunity to take a bulk of the carries here as this goes past Branson Pipko. He's going to force him all the way down to the Saskatchewan 10-yard line. And brought down. Huskies and the fans looking for the no yards flag. They'll finally get it way at the end of this play.
Better late than never, right, Darren?
It finally came out.
Yeah, that's what my wife says about my apologies. So what a change in field position, though, Darren.
Yeah.
That was a big kick, and the Huskies are pinned.
Well, that's what the Dinos have in Chris McLean, the U of T transfer out of Brampton. The big leg, 4th-year kicker.
What number?
We'll get the call here. Our referee this afternoon is Dale Gertzen.
We have no yards on the Dinos. There's a failure to withdraw on the punt. It's a 15-yard penalty. First down.
And that's a big one, Darren.
So move them ahead 15 yards. That'll give the Huskies a little bit better field position. They'll start from the 25 here.
And that's not what you want to do if you're Dino right now, because, I mean, they're doing a good job. They're in the game. They're playing well, and they're winning the field position battle, and that's not what you want to give up right now.
He's now looking deep. That pass complete. and room to run. Caleb Morin all the way to the house. Sorry, Rhett Vavra to the house. Touchdown Huskies, and that'll help the stat book for Mason Nias, and the Huskies have their first major.
You're right, Darren. He attacked that middle of the field. He's been going after it, all game here, and finally able to connect on Vavra. And Nias has been a gunslinger from the start. They always knew that, and that's just that ball spot on, Darren. You can't put that in a better spot. And Vavra just turns on the afterburners and just accelerates his way to the touchdown here, and that's got to boost the confidence. The windshield wipers. Haven't seen that one for a while.
That's pretty good from Vavra.
Yeah, he's getting some love from the boys on that one.
The extra point is good, and the Huskies, there's the offensive explosion that we're looking for. One more time, Nias to Rhett Vavra, and then he turns on the afterburners past Deacon Taylor Young. He wasn't going to be caught. To the house.
And that's just a great job. The Dinos have been playing defense similar the whole game here, and attacking, and Nias kept trying to attack that middle of the field deep, and just wasn't able to connect, and there he did, and that's a great job. When you really want to punish teams, Darren, if they're going to come after you and they're going to bring the house and they're going to really try and put a lot of pressure on you, you gotta punish them when they go to do that, and that's a great job by Mason Nias in connecting on that one.
85 yards from Nias to Vavra for a touchdown.
Little pitching catch there, Darren.
Unbelievable.
Wow, that's a big play.
So that settles things down offensively and moves things forward.
And I think there, Darren, we just got confirmation that may have been the record there.
So that pass from Nias to Vavra will put Mason Nias at the top of the Huskies' single-season passing leaders. As kickoff from David Soley, trying to find the soft spot in the Calgary D, will go out of bounds. So Calgary will get good field position here.
And Darren, what a season to do it on. Like we had talked about right off the top, he doesn't have the receivers like Sam Baker or Clausen.
On the kickoff, be first down, UFC, 40-yard line.
So because the ball went out of bounds there, they're going to throw a flag on that and start from the 40 here. But like we talked about it, he doesn't have those big name receivers who've been producing for years and years. He's done this with a young group. He's done this with a young O-line, and that's what just makes this even more and more impressive.
Dinos from the 40. Spolatini into tight coverage and finds Carbone for the reception. And we'll go downstairs and join Matt Young. Matt?
Guys, I'm with the man himself, Mason Nias. He's got the ball. You got the record. What do you think?
It's cool. Obviously, yeah, I guess I can reflect on it a bit later afterwards. But right now we're just trying to win a football game. And, we sputtered a bit in the first quarter there. And it's nice to get a touchdown on the board, but we got to keep going.
Did you know you had it as soon as the ball was caught by Vavra?
No, I actually had no idea where I was with it. You're the first guy telling me, so I appreciate it. You get to be a part of the memory.
All right, good luck. Thanks very much, Mason.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great season from Mason Nias, and it'll go down as one of the very best in Saskatchewan Huskies history. And that 85-yard pitch and catch from Nias to Rhett Vavra, that puts Mason at the top of the Saskatchewan Huskies all-time list for single-season passing yards, going ahead of his former teammate in Kyle Siemens, and a former guy that we all know around here in Steve Beelan as well.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty prestigious to have your name, even mentioned with those guys, let alone on top. And Darren, I just can't echo it enough how impressive and how impressed I am with how he's done this with such a young group.
Just one Husky quarterback ever has won the Heck Crichton Trophy as Player of the Year. Mason Nias trying to do that again and really put his stamp on maybe the greatest single season in U of S Husky history.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been pretty neat and pretty special to watch and watch him progress throughout this season. And there hasn't been a game where he's put up 600 or 700. It's just been consistency and playing well game after game after game and taking care of the football. He's led this group, and he's been even keeled throughout the whole thing. Hasn't ridden any too many highs or too many lows. Like he said, they got off to a slow start in that first quarter, but he's not phased. He's attacking in the middle of the field. He knows where he needs to go with it. He knows what it takes to be successful, and so he's just going after those spots.
You saw the flags. The guys in the truck put the cameras up on the flags here. The gusting winds up near 40 kilometers an hour this afternoon. That throw from Mason to Vavra was into the wind, and he goes 85 yards down the field. So,
and it was in the perfect spot. Vavra didn't slow down. He just caught it purely on the run. Darren, I don't even think he extended his arms. I think he just basketed it right off his chest, and that was a great ball. Looks like we'll see the Calgary offense come off the field here, and I wonder if we at some point see maybe some changes on offense here on the Dino side, and see if they start cycling some players through and try and continue to improve.
Vavra's back on the Saskatchewan goal line here on the third down punt from McLean. Oh, and
wow.
He gets his leg into this.
Zah.
With that wind at his back, he'll put it right through the end zone, and that's a 53-yard single point. Make it 63 yards from the point in which he actually kicked the football.
That's wild. That's a big boot. That is a real big boot. That, what was that?
Calgary's on the board, 10-1, the Huskies lead.
Yeah, it's what a player they got there in Calgary with their punter. I mean, anytime you can change the field position like that is huge, and he's done that for them all season, which has been big and helped them, and helped this young squad to be able to be successful.
Riker Frank back in the field. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say it looks like Mason Nias will continue to play here, and this will be fun to continue to watch. Oh,
he's got lots of time. And now finally hooks up with Daniel Perry, who will step out of bounds after a gain of 14 yards.
Thought he was going to start taking up Nitten back there. He had so much time to make that decision there. Looked like he was trying to point people downfield and get people moving a little bit more. They had quite a bit of cluster down there, but he gets the ball out to Perry on the run, and they'll take that first down and continue on here.
Jesse Kuntz comes into the game, the fourth-year wideout out of Calgary.
It looks like the Huskies have started to make some changes already here, Darren, cycling guys through.
Kuntz was pretty instrumental in a couple of the Husky Hardy Cup appearances in Calgary, and one here as well. Hasn't had as big of a role this year as Daniel Perry has emerged and has another catch, this time for 12 more yards and another Saskatchewan first down. But other weapons have stepped up, and despite being a young group, there's some veteran depth on this Saskatchewan offense, and Jesse Kuntz is one of them. Everett Iverson, the third-year wideout, another one who's played in some big games.
Yeah, you're exactly. You can see D lineman there coming off the edge and didn't quite see the mesh with the ball, and good job by the Huskies pulling that out, and nice pulling it out, rolling out to the side there, finding Kuntz, I think, on the sideline. Was that Perry?
That was Perry. This is Kuntz. He's got the reception, and Asari Otawingi has the tackle.
Yeah, coming in strong. This Calgary defense comes with violence, and they do a great job in tackling in groups and pursuing to the ball, and that's how they've done a good job in slowing teams down so far this season. And we'll continue to watch them improve. One thing, Darren, you can't. You're not born with, that you can decide to do is pursuit and effort and those kinds of things. And it looks like the Calgary defense here is trying to make sure they're doing those things. Ooh.
Nice. His pass is complete to Iverson. Iverson bouncing outside. He'll work forward up across the 20-yard line and will be brought down at the Calgary 19.
Ooh, some nice toe tap in there, Darren. Iverson just doing a little bit of Allen Iverson maybe pulling off that, and then a nice little toe touch. On defense, you got to keep your eyes up when you're coming in to make a tackle like that for Chizda. And, when you drop your head, you can no longer see the receiver. And if he gives you a little doop-de-doo, then away you go and away he goes. So that's a good job by the Huskies and Iverson and throwing a nice little juke down. And And Calgary's young guys just need to keep improving and helping and working on those basic skills that allow them to secure those tackles.
First carry of the second quarter for Riker Frank. He'll take that forward for a gain of 4 yards. Frank, 5 carries now for 40 yards in the opening half.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to go back to kind of the start of the second quarter here, Darren, when they came out with Kabongo, that's kind of when the ball got rolling, and you know, they've kind of continued it here throughout the second quarter, and it's good that they're going back to Riker Frank, get him some yards, get him feeling good, and get the ball rolling here with him in there.
Empty backfield for Nice to the end zone. Oh, just off the fingertips of Riker Frank, and it'll fall incomplete. Looking for his second receiving touchdown of the year, but just short.
Oh boy, Darren, that's going to be one that he's going to hear about in film, because that's right through the mitts.
Ooh.
Oh, Darren. Yeah, that'll be one that even the DBs will be giving him a hard time, Darren, about not being able to catch. So Riker's usually pretty good at catching those ones, and you know, that's just unfortunate, and unfortunately slows down Mason Nias's legacy here with one less touchdown.
Well, this is a third down now for Nias. They keep the offense on the field. He's got lots of time. Now he waits to the end zone. He's got Frank, goes right back to him for the touchdown. So gives him an opportunity for redemption, and Riker Frank makes good on it.
And he slings it right in there, and catch that one, son. Don't want to drop 2 in a row. And we'll see Nice take a bit of a shot here a little bit late, and I think they end up throwing a flag on that. We won't see it there, but he gets a bit of a shoulder from, I'm not sure what number it was, but we'll get the call here right away.
On the passer, number 50 Calgary. We have a touchdown on the play. We'll apply that on the kickoff.
Wayne Harris is hot. I don't know if we'll see it on the Calgary sideline.
Yeah, he's not overly impressed here, Darren. And, he came out to discuss things with the referee there, and not impressed with what happened on that drive there.
I'm not sure what he's upset about. We normally see Wayne Harris as fairly mild-mannered.
Yeah,
but it makes me wonder, was Mason maybe over the line of scrimmage, rolling out to his left?
That could be, Darren. I'm not. You know what? If we can get another look at it here, we can take a look at that. So he's right on whatever yard marker that is. But I think they were wanting a hold on that corner there. If we can get the truck to
yeah, he was well behind the line of scrimmage.
Back. Yeah, he was well behind there. If we can watch, can we get the end zone view here again from the truck? That'd be great. That'd be great, and we can. They're doing a great job there getting all these replays up. So we'll see on the right here, number 96. I think they're upset about that, and that, you know, would arguably a hold, and I would probably argue that probably is too, working inside, and that's I think what Coach Harris is pretty upset about here, and so that's understandable. So I can agree with Coach Harris on that one. I think that's probably a missed call there.
He's walking the sideline with Dale Gertzen right now, and we don't see Wayne this animated on the Calgary sideline all that often.
No, he's a pretty calm, collected cucumber, but you're right. Right now, he's red as a tomato. He's still giving it, and we'll see if he's able to shake this off here.
So the Calgary Dinos will get the football back here in the 47 seconds to go before the half. But Mason Nias, 2 touchdown passes here in the opening half of football, 15 of 24, 259 yards now, and a couple of touchdowns. So he must have heard us when we said slow start. I'll show you a slow start.
Yeah, exactly. He turned it on there and turned it on quickly. That's for sure. That Husky offense, like they've been able to do this season, can put up yards quickly and attack you downfield and then, you know, run the ball well. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, he's done a great job so far today, and you know, we'll see how much longer he plays here, Darren.
Coming into the football game, Mason Nias, the #1 passer in the country, 17 touchdowns were 2 back of Laval's Arnaud Desjardins, who's the country's leader. Well, Desjardins and the Rouge et Or are in Concordia to wrap up their season today. And Desjardins has thrown for 387 yards and 3 touchdowns. So Mason, by quick math, is now 3 back still. So needing 3 more touchdowns to reach the lead in the country. I don't know if that's in the cards, if he's expecting to play the second half. It'll be decisions for Scott Flory, but that game is near the end of the third quarter in Concordia.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Darren. I think it's probably unlikely we see him play all of the second or even some of it, to be honest, I would think, and they'll preserve the assets.
I think so. But that'll be up to Scott Flory and his coaching staff. We're down to 17 seconds here in the opening half and a third down, so the Huskies will get the ball back here.
And he's usually not the type of guy to give it away one way or another, Darren. He's a pretty tight-lipped character, Scott Flory. So I'm sure we probably won't know till the guys jog out at after half to see who comes out under center. So
a good second quarter here for the Huskies after a bit of a slow start. Led just 3-0 most through that first quarter and into the start of the second quarter before back-to-back touchdowns here now in the late stages of the half.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of a concern starting the game, that's for sure, Darren. But if you're a Husky fan, I think you're probably in a pretty good mindset now with how they've turned things around, and the Dinos will kneel this out here.
Let the clock run all the way down. And take one knee to wrap up the opening half here in Saskatoon. Slow start turns into a 17-1 lead for the Huskies at the half. Matteo Spolatini and the young Dinos will head to the locker room, and the Huskies halfway towards a third straight perfect home record. Mason Nias, 259 yards in that opening half, including that 85-yard touchdown strike to Rhett Vavre.
What a play to pass the record on, Darren? That's a good one. That's a nice one. That'll be nice and memorable. You can see the big fellas giving him the congrats and the proud of him kind of thing. So.
Well, and his coach engineering the offense, Scott Flory, the head coach and offensive coordinator of the Huskies, is down with our Matt Young.
Scott Flory, first I got to ask you, how proud of you and Mason Nias reaching the milestone?
Yeah, you just told me that. I'm super happy. I mean, good on the kid. He deserves it, and we'll take the time after the game here to reflect on that.
Slow start the first half, but you kind of lit it up in the second quarter. How long can we expect Nias to play in the second half, or are we going to see Emendred or Watson?
We'll see how it's going in the second half. I'm not happy with the way we started that game. I mean, some penalties are getting backed up. It's just some uncharacteristic things. We missed some things. We cleaned up there in the second. We got to keep it rolling here in the third quarter coming out of halftime.
Good luck in the second half.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All righty, folks, here at Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, the University of Saskatchewan Huskies lead the Calgary Dinos 17-1 right now. A bit of a slow start for the Mean Green Machine, but they turned it on in the second quarter. We're going to be back halftime analysis, and we got out-of-town scoreboard coming up back after this.
To understand the impact Andrew Buckley had on Canada West football, one only needs to open up the conference record book. The former Calgary Dino wrote his name up and down its pages, most notably breaking the CW and U Sports passing and completion percentage records. But it wasn't just individual greatness Buckley achieved. The Calgary Alberta product is a 3-time Canada West champion. The hometown quarterback was named the best university football player in the nation, not just once, but twice in his career. Buckley was as impressive off the field as he was on it. He repeated as the Canada West Student Athlete and Russ Jackson Award winner in 2013 and 14, becoming the first ever athlete to win the Crichton and Jackson Awards in the same season. Buckley went on to get drafted by the Calgary Stampeders after he was accepted into medical school.
Alrighty, folks, we are back here at Griffith Stadium. 17-1 the score for the Huskies over the University of Calgary Dinos. Mason Nias reaching a milestone. A bit of a slow start for the Huskies, but they managed to rattle off some points in the second quarter here in this final regular season game before the playoffs. Of course, lots to talk about across Canada West and here at the University of Saskatchewan. Joining me today right now is Jamie Campbell, head coach of the men's basketball team. And Mr. Campbell, I know you're a basketball guy, but you're also a football guy too. What do you think of the game so far?
Obviously a great defensive effort by our team. Only one, the guy just said, just one first down for Calgary in the first half. So tremendous effort that way. And you kind of knew how good of a season the offense and Mason have been having, that eventually there's going to start to click. And they got to go in there in the second quarter.
There you go, like they usually do. And of course, with the playoffs around the corner, I mean, there's got to be a little chatter amongst all the university sports about the football team having an opportunity to possibly maybe get back to the big game.
Yeah, of course. You're always checking in on all the other teams, right? We are Husky Athletics, even though you're focused on your team. And obviously the great start and the great year they've been having so far. Everybody's pretty excited to see them go and see how far they can push it.
Well, speaking of your team and speaking of big games, the University of Saskatchewan men's basketball team made it to the national finals last year. Didn't quite take home the trophy, but put on a pretty good run through the playoffs. So let's look ahead to this year's squad on the court. How have things changed from last season?
Yeah, of course. It's obviously getting to the very end of the season, and for the team, the guys, and not quite getting over the hump was obviously, disappointing for them, but it was a great season, a great end of the year. And, three of our starters, have moved on. And, we had a tough loss of one of our main players this year. Chandasimon hurt his ankle and he'll be out for the year. But, we got some good players like Alexander Dewar, Therese Toma, Noah Nickel, Max Amolfo, all back, Kessler Bishop. So lots of good pieces back for a team that had a lot of success last year.
Yeah, we'll look forward to them on the court. Of course, Dewar, a bright spot, and Nickel, some guys that have some experience. Yeah. So tell us when it's all going to get started. Your schedule, I think, starts next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend, obviously, you start with Mountain Royal, so that'll be 2 games at home here. And we're looking forward to getting our home opener done and going and get the season started. And then from there, we get to go to Regina and get the rivalry going there as well. So it'll be a good, exciting start to the year, and we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I mean, with Regina, it's always a rivalry. It doesn't matter whether it's hockey, basketball, football, always a big rivalry when Regina's in town, or even when you go there, I guess. I do want to ask you about how things are shaping up as far as the conference goes.
Yeah, obviously Canada West is always a very tough conference, right? Some really good teams. Every weekend's tough. Playing 2 teams back-to-back days makes for a tough challenge every weekend, but a lot of great teams across Canada West, and every weekend's going to be a battle, that's for sure.
Great stuff so far. 2 more quick questions.
Yep.
How has camp so far been this year?
Camp's been great. Obviously there have been some highs and lows in our preseason schedule. Obviously the loss of Chan was a pretty big low and a tough thing to bounce back from, but our guys have really come together and try to rally around him and the rest of our athletes. And we've had some good performances this last weekend in Quebec City. That's really helped us get ready for next week.
I mean, you have some pieces that are back, but you have some that are left. Is it a rebuild, as people like to say, or is it more some fine tuning? What's it like putting this year's team together?
Rebuild, definitely not the right word for it. Obviously lost some really key pieces and tough players, but they had a pretty deep squad last year, and we're really looking forward to seeing how those guys can step up into some different roles, and brought in some new guys that'll help us really push the team to where we're going in the future.
Well, we'll look forward to that, certainly. The Husky men's basketball team gearing up for their schedule coming up next weekend. Jamie Campbell, I want to thank you so much for being with us today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
We're going to be back with more here at Griffith Stadium in just a few moments. Your out-of-town scoreboard halftime analysis. In the meantime, let's see some performers of the week.
Your Canada West Defensive Player of the Week is Marcel Arruda-Welch. Arruda-Welch was everywhere on the defensive side of the ball for the Bisons, disrupting the Alberta offense. He posted several tackles and a tackle for loss, as well as 2 pass breakups, moving him into 3rd all-time for the conference in that category. The defensive back then helped seal the game with a 4th quarter interception. Your Canada West Offensive Player of the Week is Isaiah Knight. Knight went off Saturday, speeding and slipping through defenders to record the Thunderbirds' first 3 touchdowns from 33, 45, and 54 yards out. Knight notched a total of 151 yards in the run game, while also hauling in 80 yards in receptions. The running back was lethal, leading the Thunderbirds to their 4th win of the season and handing Saskatchewan its first loss.
For the touchdown, Isaiah Knight, his 2nd touchdown. Now right back on the ground, Isaiah Knight breaks it. He's at the 40, the 30, the 20. Knight at the 10. He will not be stopped. That is 3.
Your Canada West Special Teams Player of the Week is Nico DeFonte. The Manitoba Bison pushed the Alberta Golden Bears back effectively and often with 3 of his 6 punts into their 20. His 2 field goals were instrumental early on, notching kicks from 39 and 32 yards out on the chilly afternoon. DeFonte added 6 kickoffs to help the Bisons to a key victory.
Alrighty, welcome back here at Griffith Stadium. 17-1 in this game. The Huskies lead the Dinos, but some other cases to take care of in Canada West. We got some low-scoring action going on right now out in UBC taking on Alberta. 5-0 the score. The Alberta Golden Bears leading that one at halftime, so not a lot of offense in that one. And Manitoba, they're taking on Regina right now. That one is just getting underway. The score in that one right now, 0s on the board for both teams as we begin to wrap up the final week of the regular season here in Canada West before we begin the Hardy Cup playoffs next week. Okay, we got a lot more. We're ticking down to second half action in just a few moments, but let's have a look at some plays of the week.
Now right back on the ground, Isaiah Knight breaks it. He's at the 40, the 30, the 20. Knight at the 10. He will not be stopped.
No one near him. No one even gets a hand near him until he gets down to the 10-yard line. Then he blows through the final 2 Saskatchewan defenders. Got a man here in coverage. He's going to Welch, but he just misses timing that one. And for the 2nd game in a row, the Golden Bears hit a deep shot.
Great ball from the Alberta quarterback.
His 12 catches and now a block for the Calgary special teams.
Return game, we just block the kicks, just do that instead.
Here for the Huskies, Nias feeling the pressure, steps up in the pocket and unleashes it down the field, has a man, and that is going to be a touchdown. The Huskies are going to score. Daniel Weeb.
Again, look at this throw by Nias, my goodness. Daniel Weeb is just streaking down the field.
11-10 the first time they met the Huskies. Mark McConkey said after last week's loss, we are going to have to go through this place if we want to win the Hardy Cup. This place being Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon, but a nice return on the kickoff and a big hit thrown by Calvin, the kicker, as he laid out Matt Sibley, who had a nice run on the kickoff return. And the guy who kicked it to him ended that run pretty quickly.
Leads this Dino team in all-purpose yards, just get absolutely flattened by Galvin.
3rd and 7 here. Engel. Oh, Engel is going to make the pass. He gets it away. Shamar McBean. Where did this touchdown come from?
Moves up in the pocket. He's got defenders draped all over him. McBean with the catch.
A huge single.
We're through one half of football, getting set for the second half here in Saskatoon, and they're having a great time on the final weekend of the regular season. The Huskies with a 16-point lead over Calgary, and their quarterback, Bryce Mason-Nias. Slow start, but he really got going in that opening half. 259 yards and a couple of touchdown passes.
Yeah, and he's done a great job really rebounding after that bit of a slower start, like we said. But, you know, he's connected with Perry multiple times. He swung the ball out, spread it around. There we see Daniel Weeb making a push. But, this has been typical Mason Nias season. Not getting flustered, not getting, thrown off. He stays to the plan, and his consistency in just going back to the same things that they've obviously planned for all week has paid off. And good patience there on that one, and then a great ball to Riker Franks deep in the end zone after Riker dropped one on him earlier. So
Rhett Vavra, 97 yards to lead Husky receivers yardage, but it was Daniel Perry, 6 receptions. The favorite target of Mason Nias, who's now the single-season passing leader in Husky history, passing Kyle Siemens and Steve Beeline in the record books here this afternoon. On the other side, it's a second-year quarterback in Matteo Spolatini getting the start, and as expected, a slow start from him in this Dinos offense.
Yeah, no, he's been improving as the game has gone on, but they just got to keep pushing that ball downfield, and he's got to keep trying to stay focused and stick that ball into the right spot. And he's done a good job when he's been in there throughout this season of really getting that ball out and trying to hit his receivers. But they need to keep improving and keep searching and see who's going to step up at that position, because I think throughout this offseason that will be a spot where they need to look to add competition and can prove even with Sinanis there.
Yes, and the Dinos head coach Wayne Harris is down and ready with our Matt Young at field level. Matt.
All right, here with Wayne Harris. Your defense could only hold the Huskies for so long. What happened in that first half?
Well, offense, we got to generate some first downs. Defense played a lot of plays, and they started to get tired and fatigued at the end of the half, and Saskatchewan will wear you down with their size and physicality. So offensively, we need to be on the ball more.
This is the last half of the regular season for your squad, as you won't be going to the playoffs. But what are you hoping to see, and could we see a rotation of guys in there to try and get a look at some other guys?
Well, we got a lot of guys, new players in every week. We've had so many injuries through the season, so a lot of guys are getting opportunities to play. There won't be a lot of change up with who's playing out there today, but the guys are playing hard and they're continuing to try. That's what we ask of them. They just got to get bigger and faster over the offseason.
We'll continue to see Matteo in the in the second half. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll continue to see Matteo for now, and we'll go from there.
All right. Thanks very much. Good luck in the second half.
Okay, thank you.
So Matteo Spolatini, thank you, Matt. Xavier Valancourt, the other freshman quarterback we may see in the second half for the Dinos, who had just one first down in the opening half. But you look at, running the ball, passing the ball, Huskies continue to bring balance.
Yeah, and the Dinos, obviously they need to improve on that, and that's not going to win you any games, Darren. You know that. It's going to take a better effort from them offensively to get first downs and then to get and put points up. So, obviously that's something they need to improve on, and we'll continue to watch the second half to see if they can do so. And it starts with getting first downs, Darren. If you can't get the first downs, you're never gonna, you might be able to do a puncher's chance at a touchdown here and there, but you gotta build on first downs.
Mason Nias continues to sling. He'll start the second half. 2 touchdown passes in the opening 2 quarters. The first, an 85-yard touchdown pass to Rhett Vavra that cemented Nias' spot atop the Husky record books. And Vavra revving it up. And then this, 15 yards from Nias to Riker Frank. After Frank dropped the touchdown pass, he made good on the second attempt. And the Huskies have a 16-point lead as we head to the third quarter, and they'll have the football to start this third quarter. So now the question is, how long do we see Mason Nias? Obviously, he can continue to cement his spot in the record books and continue to improve the Heck Crichton resume in the second half. But Scott Flory, as much as we heard what he said to Matt Young about, being happy about the record. The numbers aren't what's important here. You want to make sure your offense is healthy and in a good spot heading into the playoffs.
Absolutely. And to be honest, they've done a good job of protecting Nias so far. Like, we really haven't seen him hit so far this game. And how long do you push that, Darren? We'll see what Scott Flory thinks and how far he's willing to kind of push things to continue to kind of dominate and push this pace of this game here.
Well, young players in on both sides of the football. And when you see young players for the Dinos, they'll want to make a mark, right? This is audition time for Calgary. So big hits like you saw the one from Moyesaro on Branson Pipko on the return. You want to protect some of your veterans, but it's the starters here to start the third quarter for the Huskies, as Flory told Matt Young didn't like the way they started the football game, so see how they start the third quarter. Kabongo in the backfield, and he'll take the first down carry. He'll work his way forward into that second level, and it'll be Jacob Biggs with a tackle after what looks to be a gain of 5 yards.
Yeah, and it looks like they're starting the second half here, kind of like how they started that second quarter, Darren, with Kabongo up the middle and try and get things rolling that way. And we'll see if they kind of continue with that, how they did in the second quarter. And on a Dino end here, they just got to keep try and stop the bleeding here and come up with a big stop to try and give their offense an opportunity to make some plays here.
8 carries now for Ted Kabongo, 48 yards on the ground as Nias back to pass. Looking for Daniel Perry, but it's out of his reach, right in front of Tyrese Bristol. And a quick 2-and-out for the Saskatchewan offense. So that's not what Scott Flory wants to see coming out and starting each half.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, ideally you push that ball downfield, but you know, sometimes you test the different things out, and that wasn't so successful. But good job on the Dinos and that defense by making a stop here, and if they can get that ball back, make a play, and we'll see if they can get themselves back in this game here and put some points up and get some first downs.
This punt bobbled by Zach Smith. He'll take it up the middle, make a pretty decent return up to the 45-yard line. The offense back out, and it's been Matthew Clark, the freshman running back out of Brantford, Ontario, leading the way on the ground. Just 24 yards, but it's been a great season for the freshman. 379 yards on the ground, another 83 through the air for Matthew Clark.
Yeah, and obviously that's what you want to see out of your young players, showing progress, improving, and excelling when they've had the opportunities to. And I think this is something definitely the Dinos will want to build off of and build around, and get other players in place there to help his skill position and add depth behind him.
Spolatini to pass on first down, and that's going to be in the dirt right in front of Gob Dang.
Yeah, and Spolatini's just got to get that ball up. I'm sure he's made that throw, a million times, Darren. But in the game, you got to get that ball up in a spot where a receiver can make a play. Because if you don't get it to him, there's no chance for them to to make a great catch and try and bail you out a little bit. So.
Dang, a freshman wideout out of Vancouver. 408 yards on the season, still looking for his first U Sports touchdown reception. Now on a second down, another passing situation here for Spolatini. He'll sling that out, looking for Zach Smith. Nobody in the area. Cam Skinner, the Husky cornerback, was the one in the vicinity closest to it. Spolatini now 3 of 9 for just 16 yards.
Yeah, and as the Dinos coach obviously talked about at halftime there, when the offense goes 2-and-out, Darren, that defense ends up on the field a lot more, and you get tired quicker, and you start to wear down, and all those things start to compound when you're just going 2-and-out. So it's important for the Dinos offense to put together first down so that they can give this defense a break and allow them to catch their breath and continue to make big plays.
Branson Pipko to take the punt. Oh, it's on the ground, and the Dinos have it. There are flags on the play, likely for no yards. So the Huskies should retain possession here.
Yeah, you can see it almost looks like the two returners bump into each other here a little bit, but not quite. Looks like maybe it was just a bit of a drop there, and a good job by the Dinos kind of getting in there, but you're going to see number 80 Price is kind of standing inside the 5 yards there, and that'll be what I think ends up keeping the ball with the Huskies here.
We have no yards on the return. It's a 15-yard penalty, first down.
So the 15-yard variety will give Saskatchewan great field position here to start their second possession of the third quarter.
Yeah, those 15s are, that's a lot of yardage to give up here. That's a big swing when you talk about being either at your 45-yard line or your 30. And so the Huskies will benefit from that, that's for sure.
Nias to throw. Finds Daniel Perry, swings it out. Great tackle on the outside by Bristol after a gain of 6 yards.
And he's getting up a little bit slow there and getting dusted off a bit. And Nice little screen pass again. We got Kuntz out there working hard, trying to get some blocking on the corner, and Biggs refusing to get blocked on what might be his last game, Darren, and he's not willing to give up. Him and Lecision I enjoy watching these guys. They're hard, tough football players that are just out there giving their best effort and doing everything they can. They've been big impacts on this Dino team, and this Dinos team will have a lot of work to do to fill those 2 spots, that's for sure.
There's one Mason Nias will want back, looking for Caleb Moore, and it's in the dirt, just short. I don't know if that slipped out of his hand, but it brings up 3rd down and another short offensive possession here for the Huskies coming out of the half.
Yeah, defense is coming out strong on both sides here right off the bat, and kind of getting tripped up here and stuffed early, and it'll be interesting to see if this turns out to be a defensive battle second half, Darren, or if the offenses kind of get going again here. It'd be exciting to see this Dinos offense create some first downs and really utilize some of those weapons they have on offense to move the ball downfield and be good for them to go into the off season with a good second half in the books here.
Calgary will start way back in their own side of midfield, way back at the 20-yard line. Spolatini still engineering the offense here in the 3rd quarter.
And we'll see if they go to pass here or we try and get the ball in Clark's hands again.
Matthew Clark will take the handoff on the left side. Behind his big offensive lineman and Braden Zeman and Chris Pashula. Pashula at 6'4", 275 pounds, the left guard. And one of those freshmen, one of 2 freshmen on the offensive line for Calgary.
Yeah, I mean it's a young O-line. You're young at every spot, and the only way they're gonna progress is by getting them game experience, and that's what the Dinos have done this year. Is they've tried to give these guys and put them in the best opportunities possible while letting them experience on their own, and they'll just need to be better next year if they're going to continue to improve.
Passing situation now once again for Spolatini. He'll sling this to the outside. That's caught by Zach Smith and be brought down to the 29-yard line. So for Zach Smith, his first reception of the football game. Smith out of Vernon, BC, 195 yards and a couple of touchdowns on the season for the freshman slot back, who they're pretty high about in Calgary as one of the new fresh faces. You're not going to replace the Philpott twins, but to try and build the next group.
Yeah, exactly, and this is how you do it, is by bringing in some talented receivers, and like you're saying, the Philpotts you'll never fill them, because those 2 guys are great football players and doing well at the CFL level, but you got to just start by getting guys in there and getting them game experience and letting them experience the game and get them the ball and give them an opportunity. Ooh, nice.
Third down play here for the Calgary offense.
Charlie Ringland coming down and trying to lay the boom here, and a good job by Dang, kind of shrugging it off a bit and then sticking the ball out. Nice heads-up play, getting that ball out there, Darren, to make sure you got that first down.
Yeah, just enough. Gain of maybe a couple of yards. But they'll move the chains here, and a first down. Calgary is trying to find something positive here in the second half offensively.
Yeah, and I like that idea, getting him the ball, not just in the pass game. So that hopefully we'll see if they can add, some type of jet sweep into him or something to try and get him get the ball more often.
Spolatini now. Play action. He's going to look deep over the middle for Smith, and it's just out of his reach. Charlie Ringland alone in coverage on Zach Smith.
Yeah, great job by Charlie Ringland. He's a big guy, Charlie Ringland, so when he's covering you, you look like a small guy, and he gets a nice little tug on the jersey there. But good job by Spolatini. He's taking his shot here, and I like his desire to make that and try and take that shot and push the ball downfield.
So brings up second down. Clark still in the backfield. Dinos are a banged up group, especially at that spot. Spolatini's going to hold it and run. Trying to find room to the outside, and he's going to avoid a big hit. He'll be up right near a Calgary first down. As Spolatini takes off with the legs for the first time today.
Yeah, good job by Spallettini, kind of seeing that opening and trying to run with it there. We haven't seen him do a lot of that. Sinanis, Calgary's other quarterback who'd been playing the last couple games, did a good job of that, and there's a time and a place for that, and that's a good job getting a first down and extending the drive. So that's something to build off of, Darren, and hopefully Spallettini will be willing to pull it down and run with it a little bit more here if that's where he kind of sees the openings to do so.
This time the handoff on that left side. The Dinos without Javier Williams and Ben Abrook, both out of the lineup in this Calgary backfield, which opens up room for Matthew Clark, the freshman out of Brantford, to handle, well, all of the work in the backfield so far today.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a good thing. I think getting him the ball more doesn't hurt, that's for sure. And, you know, they've been battling injuries all year, but so has everybody else. So, you know, as a player, in the past, I don't feel sympathetic towards that because I feel like everybody's going through the same thing, and you know that. And so I always hesitate to kind of draw back to that, but you know, they got to figure out a way to get first down here and continue to improve, because I'm sure this won't be acceptable for too long.
Well, a couple of other players, you know, you look down the lineup at some of these young guys who might get in, but how about some of the older guys? Christian Phillips is a fifth-year, listed as a running back on the depth chart out of Winnipeg, 6'4", 240-pound running back. And a fifth year. I wondered if we might see Christian Phillips in the lineup, but we'll see. Out-of-town scoreboard. After a safety and a field goal, Alberta now late third quarter continuing to lead UBC, and a Braden Stubbs rushing touchdown has Manitoba up 10-0 on Regina. So if those results hold, Manitoba will get the final playoff spot. A Manitoba win, and they're in. The path to Alberta getting to the playoffs, they need to win and have Manitoba lose. So that's the final playoff spot up for grabs this afternoon.
Yeah, and I don't think for a second that the Rams aren't going to try and take this win. You know, either way, they're gonna bring it. And Stubbs is good, and Manitoba has the ability to create out of the run game, and with Des back there, you can expect that. He'll connect on some passes and make some plays. So it's an exciting last week, Darren. Here, I mean, when you talk about sometimes you end up with some of these situations where the last game of the season is maybe a nothing game, kind of like this, but those other two games are big.
Well, and Garrett Rooker's not playing this afternoon for UBC, so Blake Nill resting some of his starters as well. As you get a look at some of the Dinos playing in their final game here.
Yes.
Call it the fifth-year game for, the folks in Saskatchewan at the home game, but it's also the final game for a lot of players for Calgary. Just a couple of fifth years and a lot of fourth years that will exhaust. They'll graduate and exhaust their eligibility here this afternoon. They won't take their fifth year.
Yeah, and that's kind of the cycle of life here in university sports is, you finish your degree and some people just move on after that and don't always exhaust all their eligibility. And obviously a couple big ones is Biggs and Lecision on that Dino defense, and they'll have some work to do trying to fill those two holes because those guys do a lot in that back end.
Michel-Ange Desjardins with the reception that gives Calgary a first down. They move the chains here at the Saskatchewan 50. Now they'll hand the football off and some room for Matthew Clark. And we see the Dinos fifth years not coming back. How about the Saskatchewan Huskies? And for that offense, you talked about how young it is. Just Mason Nias on the offense, and then a trio of defenders playing their final regular season game in the green and white.
Yeah, that's like we talked about, that Mason Nias being the only one in his fifth year, and then those three guys on defense. Tom Whiting, a great role player for the Huskies, who's done a lot on special teams and stepped in on defense when he's needed to, and Carson Bell and Leggett, on that defensive line, who have been big horses up front throughout the course of time for them. So they've definitely done this program proud, that's for sure, and we'll be seed off to the alumni, hopefully in due time after Vanier Cup win.
Spallettini settling in now. He's got back-to-back completions. This time he hooks up with Gob Dang and a first down after the Matthew Clark carry in between the two receptions. So this Calgary offense kind of looks like they're in the best shape they've been all afternoon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're in a great spot here. Hopefully they can capitalize, and I wouldn't mind seeing something to Clark here, maybe a little shovel pass or something to try and get him the ball, and they'll hand it off to him and away he goes. So,
well, they hand it off to Clark. No room there. He's brought down on the play by Lane Novak, Ramsey Durbis.
Yeah, this Huskies front seven does a great job in closing holes down, and Clark was just trying to sneak through and wasn't able to. But this, the linebackers are super athletic on the Huskies, just like they are almost on every team now. The ability of linebackers has just improved and improved, and their athleticism has improved and improved over the course of time. And they are some pretty good athletes in there who are able to move and move quickly, and that's a lot of teams are going to speed, Darren, now, because you got to be able to chase those guys down. And so these guys are not only big, strong, but they're fast.
Well, let's go downstairs and welcome in Matt Young once again.
Hey guys, we saw a couple of plays ago. Sam Carson, number 60 for the Calgary Dinos, went down. He was helped off the field. Right now, currently, he is on the trainer's table, and it appears they are looking at his upper left leg. He's now lying down on the trainer's table. We will see if he gets back in the ball game, but we'll keep monitoring that one for you. Bryce, Darren?
Appreciate that, Matt. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, it's always a tough spot when they're running up behind you. There's no offensive lineman. You have to be pretty fearless and being okay with guys rolling up on your legs, and that's kind of some of the stuff that they have to put up with, those big hoggies up front.
So Sam Carson, the second-year left tackle, getting looked at, and pressure. John Stoll in the backfield, and force an incompletion here. Max Williston is the freshman that takes the spot of Sam Carson out of Burlington, Ontario. Big 6'5", 280-pound tackle that gets himself into the game. You get to see the incompletion here.
Yeah, a great job by Stoll. He did a great job working his way in there. Boy, Spallettini is tall and allows him to get a good vision downfield, and just looked kind of right over Stoll there and put it right over his head. But nice swing around by Stoll there. He kind of came out, and the edge rusher went inside, which allowed Stoll to kind of come off the edge there free.
So third down, offense stays out. Spallettini, he's got to get this into the air. He does. He finds Michel-Ange Desjardins. And he's got a first down for the Dinos.
And a great job stepping up into the pocket by Spallettini and delivering that ball. It wasn't the prettiest thing, but he does a good job right there, stepping up, keeping his eyes downfield, and getting it up and over Stoll there. It's a great job. Nice touch on the ball and good catch, and like to see him kind of continue to run with that. It seemed like he kind of fell a little bit there, but
well, they're going to say it was incomplete on the ground, and that's what I thought. Oh, yeah, they're going to call the penalty against the offense, so the punt team will come out here.
That's too bad. That was good momentum that Calgary had there, and something good to build off of, and unfortunate that they weren't able to capitalize a little bit more on that.
So McLean on to punt once again, trying to angle this towards the sideline. Oh, he gets it to bounce perfectly. It will roll into the end zone.
Coffin corner there, Darren. That was a nice...
Got the back spin.
Yeah.
But I think there wasn't enough room. We're going to get a no yards flag on the play. And so the Huskies will get decent field position.
Let's see it just right. Yeah, you can see the Dino right in there, not giving any room, and it'll happen. You can see Caden Miller there kind of rolled through his legs there and was able to finally scoop it up, but not before his Dinos took a penalty on that one. And we'll see Lecision in there with Nias discussing with the referees and figuring out how we should move forward here. So Dino's coaching staff had a lot of good things to say about Lecision and what he's done for this program, and how he's not only just an athlete, but he's a student athlete, and he's been a great leader for this Dino team, and they're going to miss him greatly. As talked about Biggs as well, and sounds like maybe higher on the front may not be back, but they're going to just need to keep building. Whoever shows up there, and they're just going to need to keep building and keep recruiting at all positions to try and improve this team.
Yeah, Lecision, the fifth year, a couple interceptions, stayed to play after wrapping up his degree. His younger brother, a young player on the team, not dressed in the lineup this afternoon, but wanting to play with his brother and have that opportunity and be a leader on this defense, and that's very valuable for some of the young guys.
Yeah, having a guy like that around is, pretty important when it comes to helping them.
On the return,
We'll wait and see what this call is
a
here.
5-yard, no yards penalty on the University of Calgary. We have holding, ball in flight, foul on the University of Saskatchewan. The ball will be bounced off of the 1-yard line, first down.
So it'll be at the 1-yard line for the Saskatchewan Huskies. And Daniel Perry has had another great afternoon, continues to be the favorite target of Mason Nias.
Yeah, and he's just, he started off a little bit, with the drops a little bit early, and he's come back strong, and Mason Nias hasn't steered away from him too much and continued to trust him with the ball and continue to push the ball downfield. So
7 receptions for 78 yards for Daniel Perry.
Nice day at the office, that's for sure.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that'll do. And he's happy about it, and I understand why. Him and Biggs having a nice conversation there. Two solid players working hard out there, and like I said, Biggs often gets the other team's best receivers, and so that it's a tough position to be in when you're always covering the other team's best receivers. I'm not sure who.
The carry to Kabongo was good for just a yard on the ground. We got an injured Dino down in the field here. So getting some attention, can't tell who it is from our angle.
And it'll be important for them to continue in the playoffs, really getting that ball to Perry and spreading it around. But Perry seems to be the go-to when Mason needs to fire one in there. He seems to be the go-to guy, and he's done a great job this year so far of accepting that role and flourishing with it, it seems like, Darren.
You talk about the veterans providing some of that leadership towards the young players, chatting with different coaches. And Matt Berry, defensive coordinator for the Calgary Dinos, after this, he's heading out east, going to start on the recruiting trail and continue to look at the next group. And you start shifting towards next year. And for more on that and the Dinos recruiting journey, let's join Matt Young once again.
Yeah, Darren, Bryce, of course, the Calgary Dinos, they've struggled this season, and that's been rare. In fact, we talked to Coach Harris this week. He says the last time the Dinos really struggled and had to rebuild was actually back in 2004, and he says a lot has changed since then as far as recruiting goes with social media. He says back in 2004, you relied on word of mouth from coaches and maybe the odd game if tape was available. Now, though, there's YouTube, there's Twitter, there's websites, and many games are actually streaming. Harris says they get a large amount of videos on a daily basis, and it takes time to go through. He says there's a scouting team that spends time analyzing film and bringing it to his attention. Says it's a great way to find new talent. You know what, back in 2004, guys, I don't know if this game would be streaming on the internet as it is right now. So social media has certainly changed how we do our jobs. It's also changed how coaches in Canada West build their franchises. Guys?
It really has. How did you get recruited, Bryce?
Yeah, I mean, it was it wasn't nearly what it is today, that's for sure. It was Coach Towers came to our school and chatted with kind of everybody at the same time, and then would selectively through the course of time.
Oh, Caleb Warren was wide open, and he would have ran for a 108-yard touchdown if that was just a couple of yards shorter.
Yeah, it looks like maybe somebody missed an assignment there and didn't quite get the Dinos brought everyone, and you can see number 5 there, Taylor Young, wondering whose guy that was, and the Huskies just miss a shot on that, and that would have added some nice yardage, Darren, to that that total, that's for sure. But
the recruiting trail.
Yeah, it's a lot's changed, like has been said, but yeah, it was Coach Towers came to the school, and a lot of the coaches did come to the school and talk to everybody, and then they'd kind of isolate you out and give you a call and come to your house and stuff. But the amount of film that's out there now on these kids is great, and coaches are really be able to dissect what the skill and ability is on these players, and especially some of those guys from smaller centers or smaller towns or 6-man, 9-man teams. Be able to get more of this film out and readily available.
Absolutely,
is outstanding.
Well, and absolutely, but nothing beats the face-to-face sit-down, and that's what Matthew Berry mentioned. He's got family out east, and when you can get and talk to recruits face-to-face, have dinner after you've seen the film that's been sent in, that combination works so well.
Yeah, you got to get out there and you got to see these kids and meet them, and there's nothing after a long COVID of minimal interaction. It's important to get out and meet these kids and see what they're like in person. And you're exactly right. You got to be willing to go and show up and that kind of thing to earn these kids' desire to want to come and play for your program. Just as much as you want them to come, they need to want to come and play for you. So.
Small gain on the ground. Running the football was Tieso Pichineri, the first-year running back out of Calgary, getting his first touch of the afternoon.
Say that 10 times fast, Darren, and that's a tricky one.
Yeah, Tieso Pichineri, I think is how you say it.
Well
Pichineri.
Yeah, no, that's
so.
Well done. Don't ask me to say it, Darren. Don't you dare.
Another one of these freshmen. You're going to hear this a lot, and you know this defense though coming up with a big stop. The linebackers, Nick Weeb, as they bring pressure again. 4 to the quarterback, including Weeb on the blitz there. And Nick Weeb, the University of Oregon transfer. We saw how big he was in the Hardy Cup playoffs last year. He's been even better this year.
Yeah, he's big, he's athletic, and he makes plays. Boy, he has a knack for making big plays, Darren, and he comes with a vengeance. And he's my kind of linebacker where he comes downhill, comes hard, and then tackles you and takes you to the ground with relentless pursuit.
4 more tackles on the day for Nick Weeb.
Yeah, and we'll get a good look at it here as he kind of lines up. We'll watch him be patient, and then he's going to back off once he sees it's pass. And great little screenplay by the Dinos, but a great job in pursuit there.
Pichineri on the screenplay, so that'll bring up 3rd down here. And we'll see the special teams unit make their way. Or sorry, that was 3rd down, so the Huskies will take over on downs from the 31-yard line.
Yeah, you can see Nick Weeb right off the bat there. Once the ball is snapped and he recognizes it's pass, he starts to drop into a pass coverage. And then once that ball gets released, he starts to come downhill and duck under offensive linemen trying to block him there.
So still, Mason Nias in at quarterback. Caden Miller is the running back in the backfield. Play action. Nias over the middle. That pass complete to Caleb Morin. He's got a gain of 10 to be really close to the 1st down.
Yeah, nice job by the Dinos defense there, kind of collapsing on it. And Mason Nias still in the game, Darren. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, the reason I think Mason Nias is still in the game is he's just thrown for 20 yards. I mean, less than 20 yards in this second half, in this 3rd quarter. So it hasn't been the start to the 3rd quarter that Scott Flory wanted, and he needs to have better. They need to have better starts coming out of the locker room, not just in the 1st quarter, but also in the 3rd quarter. He hasn't seen that.
Yeah, that's a great point, Darren. You're exactly right, and especially going into playoffs here, everything needs to be tight going in, and you're spot on that.
So we'll see. Nias really got going in the 2nd quarter. Now back to throw. He's looking deep down the sideline for Daniel Perry. That'll fall incomplete. Jacob Biggs was running stride for stride with the Husky wideout.
Yeah, I can't gush on Biggs anymore. He just does a great job, especially when he's covering speedy receivers. You know, he also has the ability to come downhill in the run and play hard on that. But he just does a great job in coverage there, hand on, and just fades them out. That's textbook, Darren. That's what you show kids in film to show them how to do it. So that's a great job.
2nd down now, another passing situation for the Huskies. Morin and Vavra in the slot to the left. Nias back to pass. He's going to look up over the middle. He's got a man, and it's incomplete. Looking for Vavra. Taylor.
Same play, Darren, that they ran on that long touchdown there. They're going back to it. Mason Nias saw that the Dinos were bringing pressure and wanted to attack the middle again, and just,
He had a step on Deacon Taylor Young, too.
Just wasn't able to complete it, but yeah, you can tell he knew that one was there, and that was the right spot to go with it, and that's exactly what they want.
So you see a little body language there. Frustration from Nias a little bit in this 3rd quarter. Now on the return. And a great special teams tackle from Engel. Once again, Jaden Engel, one of the leaders on this Husky special teams unit, coming up with the tackle and the offense for Calgary, makes their way back out.
Yeah, and special teams, you know, Darren, always a third of the game and just as important as the other two. So it's important that the Huskies make sure that they do a good job going into the playoffs, doing a great job on special teams, because you don't want to be giving up any of those big returns or blocks or anything of that nature. So hopefully we'll see them do a good job tightening up on special teams here towards to finish this game off.
Full slate of starters on Both sides of the football still here late in the third quarter. Spolatini makes one pump fake and then tries to go deep for Gob Dang. He's got a man wide open. And Finn Marcotte-Cribb in coverage down to the Husky 35.
Ooh, and that's a gotcha. That's a gotcha. He ran the old out and up and had it the whole way. Spolatini, if that ball's just a little bit further, he might catch him on the run a little bit better. Dang had to slow down for it, but wow, did he have him. Marcotte-Cribb took the out and didn't go with the up, and that's a great job by the Dinos being patient and knowing when to attack that. And Marcotte-Cribb, that's a great hustle getting back, because you know, you never want to give that up for a touchdown, and even when something like that happens, you always want to catch them, give yourself another opportunity to play defense here.
That's a 51-yard reception for Gob Dang. He's still looking for his first touchdown in the Canada West. He might have had it, you're right, if that ball was just a little more in stride. Either way, first down for the Dinos. As Spolatini's gotten into a better rhythm here in the second half. Back to play action here. Spolatini with pressure. And with Charlie Parks and George Adoko pressuring down on him, he'll just step out of bounds.
Yeah, you know, Darren, I haven't noticed anything strategic-wise that they've changed that's allowed him to kind of complete more passes here. It just looks like maybe he's doing a better job of being settled in and making better decisions and getting rid of the ball. You know, but they need to keep improving on that. And on that one, I would have liked to have seen Spolatini get rid of that ball real quick. They had a guy dragging across, and if he could have got that ball out quicker, it might have given his receiver an opportunity to get the ball and go downfield.
We are through 3 quarters of play here in Saskatoon. The Huskies still with a 16-point lead over Matteo Spolatini and the Calgary Dinos. Fourth quarter on the way here on the Canada West Showcase.
Let's get started. Let's go.
Welcome back. Well, Darren, Bryce, a lot of heavy hearts in the football community here in Saskatoon, or really across Saskatchewan. Chase Bradshaw, a former Saskatoon Hilltop and Saskatchewan Husky quarterback, lost his battle with cancer. He passed away this week. Chase Bradshaw led the Saskatoon Hilltops to 2 national titles in the CJFL, and then he went to join the Huskies. He would actually set a record at the time for most pass attempts in a single game. A lot of people remembering him as someone who was a good friend, great teammate, father, and a husband, certainly a pillar in the football community here in Saskatoon and across the province. He will certainly be missed. Guys?
Yeah, I would just echo that, Darren. You know, I had the fortunate opportunity to play with him, and you know, no words will ever be able to describe the type of person that he was and how great of an individual he was. And you know, obviously, this is a very sad time, and you know, everybody who was surrounded by him, you know, had a great opportunity to find out what kind of person he was, and you could tell quickly what kind of guy he was, and he will be greatly missed. And you know, a great football player, obviously, but an even better person. And the world is at for loss right now, I think, with, you know, the loss of him, and hope best prayers and wishes to his family and everyone in that community and of course family. So
yeah, for sure. Our thoughts go to everybody in the Bradshaw family, the Husky football community, the Saskatoon football community, and a great tribute before the game to Chase and to his family. But Huskies' legacy lives on because of people like that, and they're in a great spot right now. They're going to get the football back here as we welcome you to start the fourth quarter. Huskies 17-1 lead over Calgary. They'll finish first in the Canada West and get set to host the Hardy Cup semifinal here next Saturday afternoon. They will either be hosting the Alberta Golden Bears or the Manitoba Bisons. Last time we checked in, both were leading, and they both continue to lead as this down near the goal line. But through three quarters here, it's a tough third quarter for Mason Nias, but the Huskies continue to roll here. 274 yards through the air.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the Dinos is where I'd like to take a look at, Darren, because they've improved, obviously. But, you know, if you take a look, the passing yards, they got 50 yards off the one pass. So if you chop that down, it's 49 yards pass. So I'd like to see some more consistency on their end of things and really put together drives and not just take such a big chunk. It'll be important for them to continue building and putting these first downs together to try and keep this defense off the field.
Scott Flory still hasn't seen enough yet. Nias starting the fourth quarter, and the rest of the starters, except Caden Miller, still in the backfield, as this pass was knocked down by Oda Wingy, and so the Huskies come out throwing here, and I'm sensing more frustration from the Saskatchewan offense.
Yeah, you know, the Dinos are doing a great job. You know, you got to give the Dinos where the Dinos deserve credit, but you know, obviously Nias is not looking like he's in a groove right now, and you know, like you had said earlier, you know, maybe Coach Flory wants to see him get into that groove before he yanks him out of there.
Passing situation on second down for Nias. Up across the middle, he's got Daniel Perry, and Perry brought down in pursuit from Beauchemin, the second-year outside linebacker out of Kelowna, but a first down Saskatchewan.
Boy, that looks too easy, eh? Nice little pass and catch there. Those two have, is Perry getting around 10 catches now, or is that where we're at, Darren?
Yeah, I believe Daniel Perry's now up to 8. So.
Wow. Yeah, another good day at the office for him. Like we said earlier, you know, he's done a good job of kind of being that safety blanket for Mason Nias all year and making sure to be consistent with putting up yards.
Nias back to throw, step up in the pocket. He's going to run, and he's got a first down, or really close to it. I think he actually went down about a yard or two early, and I think Scott Flory's okay with that. That was a little bit of a cautious slide. He probably could have went another yard or two.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably for the best for everyone. So that's good. Matt Lecision coming in on
There's nobody near
chase
him.
there, and yeah, no, and that's okay. I think they'll be okay with that one if they don't end up getting the first down here. I don't think he'll get taken to the grill over that in film session. But
if this was the Vanier Cup, he's going to get the first down.
Oh yeah, he's going head first. I think if that's a playoff game, I think he's going head first. Tough Regina kid never slides in like that.
Under center, he'll hand it off to Caden Miller. Miller's got the first down. Nice job moving forward, and Owen Porcu, the inside linebacker, in on the tackle. The first down for the Huskies. Caden Miller, we haven't heard his name a lot. He carried the ball 10 times last week for 42 yards. Second year back here in Saskatoon.
Yeah, and they just kind of keep pulling more horses out of the stable, you know, to run this ball and really continue to ground and pound the rock here. I think it's a good day for the Husky runners. I mean, Riker got some yards in. Kabongo, you know, really kind of got things rolling in that second quarter to get this offense going, and now they're gonna hand it off to Miller here and let him continue to pound the rock.
Nice. Trying to sling this deep down the right side, and it's complete. Hooks up with his man inside the 10. Touchdown, Huskies. One more time. Rhett Vavra, the big play target.
Yeah, another big one and another nice catch. Nias just lets that one go, and boy, that's a long football. That's a great spot again. You know, they missed that one on the other end here in the third quarter, and Nias comes back again and slings it out there. So that's a great job. That's good coverage. You know, that's a pretty good job in coverage. Vavra's fast, and you know, that's a great spot by Nias, and So that's what makes that such a difficult one to cover, and that's a tough one. That's a great throw. It's a great catch.
The extra point is up and through, kicked by Vincenzo De Rosa, the backup kicker, as David Soley gets a little bit of a rest. You get to see the De Rosa kick the football here on the extra point, but it's Mason Nias to Rhett Vavra, the touchdown reception, and now Vavra up 159 yards on 3 receptions, including that 85-yard touchdown, and Nias 350 yards and 3 touchdowns on the day.
I'm pretty happy about that, and every reason to. So that's a nice ball, Darren. That boy, that he really released that high and let it really soar.
Well, now he's back even on the day for the lead in the country. He's just 2 touchdown passes away from the lead in the nation. I don't know. Is 11:28 to go? Do you keep the offense intact?
Nothing's out of question here, Darren. Nothing is out of question.
We have illegal procedure on the offense, illegal formation. We have hands to the face, 10-yard penalty on University of Calgary. We'll redo the convert and apply on the kickoff.
Maybe a bit of frustration kicking in there with the hands to the face there. Point afters oftentimes, where the defense tries to get a little bit of anger from that touchdown, and I've been guilty of mixing it up in there a time or two, Darren. So I get where that frustration comes from, but got to try and keep it intact, and especially if you're looking to make a comeback here.
De Rosa puts the extra point through for a second time, and we'll check in once again with Matt Young.
Hey guys, here with Rhett Vavra, who caught that touchdown pass. So describe how that play unfolded as you broke a tackle, got down the sidelines.
Well, the play started, my QB audible to me, and I kind of knew the ball was coming to me because he was looking straight at me. So just kind of hustled down the field, and I was fortunate the ball came to me, and saw the end zone right there, so I knew it couldn't go down.
How does it feel to be helping Mason Nias get the single-season passing record?
Oh, I'd love to be a part of it. On all of his catches, all the boys here would be greatly appreciated to be a part of that record.
Thanks so much. Great job, Rhett.
Yeah, thank you.
Vavra's had a great season for the Saskatchewan Huskies coming into this football game. The second-year slot at a Swift Current had 444 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's not going to double those numbers, but he's 160 yards, add 2 more touchdowns. He was 6th in the Canada West in receiving. He'll move up the list.
Yeah, he'll make some progress on that list, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, he's, like you were saying, all the boys, I imagine, are pretty excited to be a part of this, pretty special season, obviously, that Nice has put together here. And especially the young group, they, I'm sure they're probably trying to comprehend and understand what, what's going on right now, because they're all so young in their careers. But yeah, I mean, they got to be pretty fortunate to have played with a quarterback like this. I'm sure they'll look back on it later in life and be pretty appreciative over it.
It's still Matteo Spolatini's offense for the Calgary Dinos as they trot back out on the field. Regina's made things a little more interesting at home to Manitoba. The Bisons still lead, though, 20-12. They're midway through the second quarter, and Alberta leading UBC by 9 still. They're in the fourth quarter. So Bisons win, and they're in the Canada West playoffs. Yeah. Alberta needing a little help.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Bisons are obviously doing everything they can to try and control their fate. That's for sure. I mean, that team has the ability to put together a pretty good game, especially with Des at quarterback. You have a veteran presence to be able to lead you, so that's not totally surprising that they put together a pretty good game plan here. Coach Dobie never has a hard time putting a good team together. So
Dino shaken up on the play. I believe that's Gob Dang, who's down right now. He had the big 51-yard reception earlier on in the second half here. And Gob Dang, who's still without a touchdown, but he's been very explosive. 38 receptions on the year, 408 yards. And today, Dang, that big 51-yard reception here. Yeah,
right there, Darren. It was a nice little out and up, and the Spolatini was nice and patient on it. And Marcotte Cribb just hook, line, and sinker took it and then had to track his way back. And looks like maybe a shoulder, Darren. Dang, looks like he's maybe coming off, holding that right shoulder pretty delicately.
Tough one, but one of these freshman receivers, along with Desjardins and Zach Smith, That will be very
That's a
key.
good trio.
You look at the, you had Matthew Clark in the backfield as a freshman. That's 4 freshmen leading the new regime of the Dinos.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to get them the ball now. Now it's just a matter of finding someone who can get them the ball. And Sinanis had some success throughout the season at times, and Spallettini is still working on it and still trying to connect on that one as well, and just trying to get the ball to these guys. 'Cause like you said, they're young, but you need to get them the ball so that the more reps, the better. And Calgary needs to work towards that. So.
We have not seen Xavier Valancourt yet. There's a freshman backup today. I don't know if we will in the 4th quarter, but between Daniel Sinanis, Matteo Spallettini, and potentially Valancourt, they've got another young freshman quarterback that's redshirted, not with the team here this afternoon. There's some options. I don't know if they found their guy for next year.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Darren. I'm not sure that's, solidified in any sense of the form, but, hopefully, they look far and wide to see if there's any more competition out there to bring in for them and be able to really put together a stable of guys that can come in, compete, and then earn that job.
Yeah, lots of questions in the offseason. Talked about it off the top. Last time the Calgary Dinos missed the playoffs in back-to-back seasons was 05 and 06. Took them 2 years to get back to the Hardy Cup, win it, and then they won 6 in a row. It doesn't take this group long. I don't know if you can expect it to happen that fast.
I know. I'm not happy about it.
You had a front row seat, I understand.
I had a front row seat, and it wasn't a good seat, and I didn't like it. I didn't like any of it. But, yeah, I mean, Blake Nill came in and a way he built, and, they built out of Calgary and worked their way out and did a good job building that team up. So, like we chatted about, this team might not be far off, but, it's going to take a couple years for this team to continuously improve, I think.
Dinos will get the football after the muffed punt. So Spallettini right back to work. And he's going to go straight towards the end zone. Into double coverage. And it's intercepted.
Guess who stole again? The big interception maker. Boy, he does a great job. He solidified the game against Regina with that interception. Does a great job here. Spallettini puts it up, and usually you don't see linebackers that far downfield. And look at the mitts on that guy, Darren.
Unbelievable. Jeez. He took this away.
Watch out, Daniel Perry. You might be out of a job soon here with Mr. Stoll on the prowl.
Dante Carbone had that football. Cam Skinner thought he had a read on that too, and John Stoll comes through.
Stole it away.
Outside linebacker out of Melville, his 3rd interception of the season.
Yeah, that's a pretty 3 interceptions for a linebacker is pretty impressive. That's for sure. That's a good number to put together, and the boys are giving him some love over it.
So the day's officially over now for Mason Nias. Into the football game is Anton Ammonrud, the 3rd-year quarterback.
Yeah, and we'll see what his skill and ability is here, and we haven't really seen him throughout this year, and it'll be good to clap some eyes on him, I imagine.
They have Ethan Watson as well, who's the short yardage quarterback and could come in and play. They give the opportunity to Ammonrud, who's, 1st-year quarterback. I think I said 3rd year, but that's Ethan Watson, who's the 3rd-year quarterback.
Right, he just drops the snap there as the Dinos kind of bear in on him there, and maybe the first game jitters there as far as dropping that ball. But the Huskies offense will take off, and yeah, that was just right. Good snap right there, just kind of jammed up his hands and dropped it on the ground. And the Dinos did a great job in kind of pressing on him and getting right on him to put some pressure on him there. Good experience for the young man coming into this game here, Darren, and getting some minutes. And with 9 minutes, I think we should be able to get a bit of a view on him and see what he's about.
Well, you definitely want to have the experience. Oof. Takes a hit there at the end of the play. But Ammonrud out of Lloydminster gets in. 6'2", 205-pound quarterback, the 1st-year quarterback. But a quick 2-and-out for the offense.
Yeah, and we'll see David Soley kind of pull it down off to the side here and then gets it away as he gets tackled. But, I mean, that's not sure if he saw maybe an opening there or if he saw the guys bearing down on him. But that was a good job by Price. tackle him, and once that kicker leaves that kind of that central spot back there, you can tackle him, Darren. So that's a nice little treat for Price to get those guys when they're out of the pocket. There is a nice little bonus.
Well, and they took the opportunity to get physical. Now, nowhere to go on the ground for the running back, Pictionary. And so that Husky defense swarming to the football, and we're starting to see some of the backups in. Carter McLean, the freshman defensive tackle out of Foam Lake, the 300-pound defensive tackle out of Foam Lake now, and on that defensive line, Tom Whiting in as well in the linebacking core.
And Tom Whiting, a fifth-year guy here, Darren, living out the final moments of the home team regular season, if I can spit it out. Stuff. So that's good. He's been a great role player for the Huskies and done a great job. And you know, it's good to see him getting some reps out there on defense.
Spolatini finds Gob Dang up near the first down marker.
Good to see that he's kind of back in the game here and not injured drastically, and them getting the ball out to him. And like you said, they got that trio of receivers that are, you know, poised to be good. And you know, with Clark in the backfield, you can make a push. So that's a nice job getting his toes in there. Hey, Darren, he's probably a pretty good dancer, I would imagine.
He was toe tapping along the sidelines.
Looks like a guy who likes to line dance. Don't we all?
Absolutely we do. Looking for the cabaret after it. I thought the big boy from Foam Lake, he'd be more familiar with the barn dances.
Wow, he'd be right in there showing everybody how to move those toes.
The Huskies have had a nice little pipeline to Foam Lake.
Yeah, a lot of good players come out of that Wynyard, Foam Lake, you know, area over the course of time. You know, just the Michalchuk family alone has supplied
right. The older Michalchuk, Tony
three
still on the
superstars. Yeah.
Linebackers, Tony Michalchuk still on the coaching staff.
Yeah, exactly.
The Kalibabas.
Yes.
Carter.
Yeah, and Braden, the older
and Braden
brother.
as well. That's right.
Yeah, great players. Yeah. Yeah, I had the opportunity to play with both Kalibabas, and always a nice salty treat to deal with Braden. Hope he's out there somewhere laughing.
Carter's got a little bit more personality, doesn't he?
Carter's great. I hope Carter hears this because he's an absolute beauty. I love that guy.
Miss that guy. Both got nice young families now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they do, and just great teammates, great guys. Right. That's what you get. You know, out of the small towns is great teammates, right? Great football players, but you know, more so great teammates and guys who are good character guys, especially around the locker room.
So Ammonrood back in engineering the offense here, hands it off to Caden Miller, who bounces to the outside, makes one man miss, and finally will be brought down by Biggs. Decent gain on the ground.
All right, okay. Caden Miller coming in with his best carry, I think, of the season here, Darren. Shows his quickness and his speed coming through there, and we did see him a lot last week, but I think this has been his best run so far, and you know, good to know for the Huskies. Look at him explode through there and then cut back, take that tackler on, shed him, and then work upfield.
12-yard gain for Caden Miller.
Man, Biggs is everywhere. He plays sideline to sideline and makes tackles all over the field. They are going to miss him.
Another handoff on the inside. It'll be good for 5 yards for Caden Miller, who continues to chew up clock and yardage here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the Huskies running backs have never been a weak point, that's for sure, Darren. It seems like we've always managed to find a guy who can push the ball, and you know, whether it was Mackert or Chow, you know, Dave Stevens, Dathan Thomas, Tyler O'Gorman, you know, the list just goes on and on of guys who, you know, were outstanding in the backfield there.
Another inside handoff. This will be short of the first down, and the Huskies look like they'll punt here on third down.
But make no doubt about it, those offensive lines, outstanding. Oh, let's get to the score here,
look
Darren.
at the out-of-town scoreboard, and how about the Regina Rams now have made it a 1-point game as Noah Pelche has thrown his second touchdown pass of the football game. Bennett Stusik and Ethan Kiefer have the 2 touchdown receptions. Alberta continues to lead BC in the fourth quarter. That Manitoba-Regina game in the late second quarter. So a Regina win could put Alberta into the playoffs if they can finish off a win in UBC, or at home to UBC.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They got to take care of their own stuff, as you know, before they start kind of looking at scoreboards. But they need to finish UBC off here and give themselves even the opportunity. And
they're up 12-3, approaching the 3-minute warning in the fourth quarter. So plenty of intrigue here in the final moments of the regular season.
And you can bank on the Rams wanting to go into the playoffs on a win. You know, I don't think we were going to see them pulling up lightly here to ease out for the second half or fourth quarter or anything of that nature.
So now Spolatini forced out of the pocket. He's going to look over the middle. Pip, no. Up in the air and not picked off. A great opportunity there from Somikal. Just couldn't get to the football.
Yeah, just squeezed it a little too tight. It was a ball that maybe wasn't in the greatest spot, and Somikal, unfortunately, in this instant, is a little comical in the fact that he wasn't able to squeeze it.
Did you just rhyme?
I did.
I like it.
I did it.
Aiden Somikal.
Yeah, no, that's, I mean, for Spolatini, throwing while you're on the run is difficult, especially when the guy's going the opposite way and you don't see the guys sliding in underneath, and that's exactly what Somikal did there. He tried to sneak in underneath. And
now draw play to Matthew Clark and nowhere to go. Delahaye and Seth Hundaby on the tackle. But
yeah, no, it's, I mean, that's a tough one for Spolatini rolling out to your right. His receivers weren't moving, and when your quarterback's rolling out, you need to be able to either get upfield or come back towards the quarterback, and it didn't seem like a lot of receivers were moving around there except for Dang. So hopefully they can figure out where to get guys moving when Spolatini is rolled out, or any quarterback for that matter, and be able to create an opportunity where you can get that ball out.
Caden Miller and Rhett Vavra back to return the kick.
Does Vavra have more yards in him here, Darren?
We're about to find out. Low boot, gets a big bounce. Vavra, take it, and he'll bounce to the outside. No. Great special teams tackle. Flag on the play here. And so the Huskies will trot the offense back up.
Yeah, he just wasn't able to quite get the corner there. I think, you know, there's a lot of room if he would have been able to get that corner, but a good job by the Dinos making that tackle and securing that the Huskies get pinned deep here.
Well, and here's another look at the great afternoon from Rhett Vavra.
Yeah, I mean, geez, just some bombs from Nias and just catch him and run, right? Catch him and run. So that's a great job. They, you know, and they missed the one they were pretty close on that they just missed, but Vavra putting together a pretty good game here, and that'll be good for him to go into the playoffs here riding a pretty good high and force teams to you know, not only be able to key on Perry, but have to put Vavra, Morin, you know, and get these guys covered up because they're doing a great job. And Nice does a great job spreading the ball around.
Good pass from Anton Amadrub, complete to Dawson Lania from Martinsville, the freshman slot back with his first Canada West reception.
Yeah, nice ball in there. That offensive line opened up a nice window there to be able to throw it into, and great pass and great catch, and now we're seeing some of the young guns.
Yeah, Dawson Linnea, the freshman slot back, he's in. Other changes on the offensive line down this possession. Zach LePage is in at center, the 315-pound sophomore from Saskatoon, and Caleb Gagne from Asquith, 6'3", 300-pound freshman. He's in the football game on that offensive line at right guard.
Just some small guys going in there.
Yeah, no big deal. That's the next wave.
Yeah.
It feels like every year they're growing them bigger and bigger, right?
Jeez, yeah, that's those are some big fellas. I mean, if that's the base you're working from and you're starting with, and a lot of these teams are, that's, you know, that's becoming the standard for a lot of these guys and a lot of these teams. So, I mean, this football is just getting better and better in the Canada West, and with getting the guys bigger and stronger and more technically sounded, the whole football product's just improving as a total, I think, as a whole.
And though you talk about those small towns, Asquith, a very small community, played 9-man football with the Delisle program. Hand off to Miller. And he's wrapped up. Sobolmioya Soro, the inside linebacker, another tackle here.
Yeah, and he's cleaning up today. He's, you know, we've heard his name called quite a few times, and he's just continuing to improve. And they'll have to continue to build this defense and add more playmakers. And They usually run a 3-man front, which leaves them with 4 linebackers. So they really got to fill those linebacker spots with good athletes, and it looks like they have quite a few there. And we'll see if they can continue to add depth and more big guys up front, because those big guys up front, boy, do they make it a lot easier on your linebackers when they take on more offensive linemen and are able to keep that line tight and keep those offensive linemen, getting pushed back.
Noah Pelche's found Ethan Marshall for another Regina Rams touchdown. They now lead Manitoba 26-20. So quick little shuffle there in the out-of-town scoreboard.
Please reset the clock to 3 minutes. It's 3-minute warning.
That game really in the final minute of the opening half.
And the Rams really turning it on there, hey, Darren? It looks like maybe they got off to a slow start, maybe they're turning it on now.
Noah Pelche now 209 yards in the first half for the Rams. That freshman quarterback.
That's good. They need that because he's been good and he's been consistent and hasn't made a ton of mistakes. But I'm not sure we've seen that game where he's gone out there and lit it up. And it would be nice to see him put some serious numbers down today. I'd love to see him in the 300s or 350s. It would be nice to see.
Yeah, more consistently. We're used to the Rams being secure at quarterback, but they got forced into putting a freshman in, and he's evolved as the season's gone on. And another young quarterback here in Ammonrood trying to go deep and find Linnea down the sideline. Almost had him, but it's going to bring up 2nd down and 10 here in the 40 as we are inside 3 minutes now to go in the 4th quarter. So the Huskies do not know who they will meet in the Canada West playoffs yet. Ammonrood dish this off to Caden Miller. Nice safety valve, and he'll bounce to the outside up across the 50-yard line, and that'll be a Saskatchewan first down, or really close to it. Might be a little bit short depending on the spot.
Yeah, nice job being patient here by Ammonrood. Kind of sidesteps out, and then nice sidearm there to Miller and let Miller get upfield, and that's a great job. That's good poise by the young quarterback to kind of work outside the pocket and get that ball out.
So they will give Saskatchewan the first down here as Ammonrood continues to roll. Now on the afternoon, 3 for 5 for 32 yards. The handoff is to Miller, and Caden Miller will plow forward for a gain of 5 yards.
And a little bit of trouble with that snap again there, Darren. I'm not sure if it's just maybe first go at this, or maybe he's not used to that center potentially.
Yeah, you got second-year center getting into the game here late. You got a young quarterback getting into the game, so you might see some of those exchange difficulties. Either way, 2nd down here and 4. Ammonrood. The outside finds Linnea again, but little to no gain, and it'll bring up 3rd down here for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, and I like that, Darren. He good poise in the pocket. The Dinos decided to bring a blitz, bring quite a few guys, leave man-to-man in the back end, and it was great poise for him to sit back there, wait till his receiver crossed half, and then throw it out to him. So that's a good job, and looks like they're doing a good job of coaching him up and continuing to progress here. When you get to watch Mason Nias, that's a pretty fortunate opportunity to learn from somebody who's doing it in their peak right now. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Another punt from David Soley here.
Will be 1st and 10 Calgary with 1:57 remaining.
And we'll get our first look at Xavier Valancourt at quarterback for the Calgary Dinos. Name number 12, no name bar, as he gets into action. A redshirt quarterback, his 3rd year with the program. He was obviously a part of the team in the COVID year, recruited in 2020. It was a redshirt last year, redshirt again this year, and the one game will not exhaust the redshirt, so he won't exhaust a year of eligibility by coming into the game here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, to be honest, Darren, I'm pretty excited about this. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table here. We knew a bit about Spallettini. He's played earlier in the season. We've seen him play. We've seen kind of what his ability is and the different threat he possesses. Now I'm excited to see, what this kid has to offer and what kind of threat he'll be. Whether he's a bit of a gunslinger, a bit of a runner. Let's wait and see here. I'm excited to see how this turns out.
Xavier Valancourt, he's got all the tools. 6'3", 215 yards out of Cochrane, Alberta. He was a 2-time CFC All-Canadian. And now going to work, and they're going to let him throw right away. He's got some time. He's going to roll out. and finally be brought down in the backfield by George Idoko. Small gain of a couple of yards.
I like what I'm seeing right now. I like what I'm seeing, Darren. I'm feeling excited. I hope obviously the Dinos offense, I hope feels a little spark by bringing somebody else in. It's not that Spaltini is doing a bad job. I think he's got a lot of things to improve on, but it's good just to get some new guys in there and see what they can do and see what their ability is.
Just wish there was more than 1 minute and 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I was interested to see if we'd see him a little bit earlier.
Now he's back to throw, looking deep. Down the right-hand side for Carbone. No, it's intercepted. Cam Skinner undercuts the football, and Skinner comes up with it. And that pass picked off by the Huskies.
Yeah, and it was just, it didn't quite have enough legs to get it all the way out there, and Skinner just picks it up and comes across and underneath and just a bit underthrown there. So good job by the Huskies attacking it. Cam Skinner, had a nice tackle early in the game and then coming back with an interception here. That's go up and get it, Cam. Go and catch it at its highest point. You can do it.
Well, he's looking at John Stoll and says, okay, yeah, I see your interception.
Don't you take another one.
So Huskies offense back to work here late in the fourth quarter. They'll hand it off to Caden Miller. And he'll be brought down on the play. Good tackle on the inside.
Yeah, Darren, I was wondering when we were going to see him and how that was going to turn out, since we heard that Sinanis wasn't making the trip. That was kind of the next question is, okay, who are the options at quarterback for Calgary as they come into this game, and an exciting just to get a fresh person in there.
Mason Nias finished the game 19-34 for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. Ho hum.
Sounds like a Mason Nias game.
Hammond now. He's going to be brought down. Ball's on the ground, and the Dinos have it with room to run. Picked up by Tyrese Bristol, and the turnover will spark a little late excitement from Calgary with less than a minute to go.
That was a great job. I'm not sure who stripped it from Ammonrood as he dropped back into his right there, number 22, I think. And that's a great job, and then he just scoops it up and starts running. Boschman doing a great job coming off the edge there, and that's a great job. That's a big play for the Dinos here. Those kinds of plays really amp things up, get your offense excited, get your defense excited, and hopefully the offense can come out here and make some plays with and maybe create some points off this turnover here.
So back to work is Valancourt. And he's going to continue to throw, and that's going to fall incomplete, just out of the reach of his intended target. Bibola was the intended target, the freshman wideout.
I thought they might try to take a shot there, Darren. Sometimes off a turnover, some teams will try and make a big play by either going deep or maybe a trick play or something. So I was kind of hopeful they'd maybe pull something like that out, but just trying to continue things on and continue the progress of this young quarterback, obviously.
Valancourt once again in the shotgun. This time he's going to hand the football off.
Nice tackle.
And so Pictionary was brought down after a small gain, brings up third down. They'll keep the offense out one more time. 42 seconds to go, I believe, in the fourth quarter. 48 seconds.
It's not touch football out there, Darren, that's for sure. The Huskies defense is still ripping and roaring, and so is the Dinos. And if you think you're going to walk out of this one without getting hit a bit, then I think you're in the wrong game.
Clock running now in the final minute. Third down for the Dinos. And the final moments of their season. Valancourt to the outside, finds Matson Tulloch. No, it's going to bounce. Cam Skinner was in coverage. It's incomplete. And the Husky offense will take over once again.
Well, I think that might be the last time we see the Dinos offense out this season. And I think there were some things for sure in this game too that they improved on, Darren. And they were able to put some players in some positions to make plays today. But it was kind of a tale of their season where they were kind of constantly coming up short and not able to finish and get first downs. And if you can't put the first downs together, you're in trouble. That's for sure.
Alberta and UBC are now tied late in the fourth quarter. Inside 2 minutes to go, UBC has the football, and they're on the move at their own 30-yard line. So 12-12, the score in Edmonton. Alberta needing a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Meanwhile, you saw that Regina has a 6-point lead now over Manitoba at the half. Alberta loss will clinch the playoffs for Manitoba. So lots to be decided in the final 2 minutes in Edmonton.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Alberta, you know you got to finish this. This is your season on the line here. You know, you have no option if you don't win. So I'll be interested to see how they kind of finish this game and what they do to trying to finish. I mean, they got some great pieces on offense that allow them to score and score quickly. You know, you got Rosary, you got Peterson. They got a good group of receivers. You know, that's a dangerous offense. I'll be interested to see how they finish the game and see if they can put up some more points. As far as UBC goes, you know, Rooker didn't play, so obviously, you know, we're gonna, you know, it'll be interesting to see if he's ready for next week or if he's not going to be playing next week, because I mean that makes a big difference too. His ability is you know. He's a very talented guy, and so I mean, it'd be a big miss for them if he wasn't playing.
Well, Blake, know the way he recruits. I mean, his sophomore backup is Derek Angle out of Grapevine, Texas. At 6'4", 220. Came in relief, was 33 of 48 for 307 yards.
Not a bad day.
One touchdown pass to go along with it. Not a bad day coming in, no doubt.
And he played well against the Huskies defense when Rooker went down and UBC beat the Huskies. He had a great second half. He played well. He was able to put together some drives, and you know, they got the ball around to their playmakers, and you know, that's a team that could definitely challenge. Like you're saying, you know, obviously Rooker is very talented, but I mean, this kid obviously seems like he can do a job.
They've got options in BC. They're headed to the playoffs, and they will meet the Regina Rams next week in Regina. Will be a good one there for sure. We'll have that one for you, no doubt, on the Canada West Showcase. Both semifinals will be available on the networks. And as well, CanadaWest.tv, as the Huskies will kneel out the final seconds of this one and get set to advance to the Hardy Cup playoffs 1 week from today. They will meet either the Manitoba Bisons or the Alberta Golden Bears. We might know in the next few minutes who that will be.
Yeah, big day for the Huskies to finish out this season, 7-1, and you know, obviously big a day for, you know, a lot of Bisons here who are going to make their last appearance as a Bison. You know, you got Matt Lecision, Christian Phillips, Jason Biggs, Salam Frazier, Josh Heyer, you know, Jacob Kirk, Zach Newman, Saboya, Osoroso, right? Is that how you say it?
Oyasoro.
Oyasoro.
Close.
And then row, you got Ben Abruck, a Saskatoon, former Saskatoon Hilltop, and
Chimsy Tassie.
And exactly. I mean, they got a big group of guys that they're losing here between fourth and fifth years, and they're going to have to keep building. But like we said, they have 92 first and second year guys, so a lot to build off of.
Lots to build off for the Dinos, who are headed to the offseason. Scott Flory and the Huskies headed to the playoffs. And we'll come back with more from Saskatoon on the Canada West Showcase. More to come after this.
Let's get started. Let's go.
350 yards and 3 touchdowns for Mason Nias. Great cap to a regular season. The Huskies finished 7-1. Perfect record here at home in Saskatoon, and that's where they'll play at least the first 2 games of the playoffs. The semifinals next week will be here in Saskatoon, and Mason Nias will lead the Huskies, trying to get back to the Vanier Cup, but this Canada West is always tight. UBC is hot. Manitoba's playing well. The Regina Rams are as good as we've seen them in some time behind Noah Pelche, young freshman quarterback. So the playoffs definitely going to be exciting. And these Huskies, they look like they're ready.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's a lot of options, and a lot of teams that have a lot of talent. And although the Huskies finished 7-1, we all know once you get into playoffs, everybody's standings and everybody's record is zeros.
Not sure what happened, but there's 1:04 left in Edmonton. Alberta has the ball on UBC's 48-yard line with the game tied at 12.
Exciting stuff.
Plenty of drama there. And if the Alberta Golden Bears can win and Manitoba loses, the Alberta Golden Bears are in the playoffs. If they lose, or if Manitoba wins, the Bisons will get the final playoff spot in the Canada West. How about another final thought on Wayne Harris and the Calgary Dinos, this young group, because we're not used to seeing a group this young, but it's a group that's actually, got a lot of bright spots. But before we do that, I believe we're going to go downstairs and join Matt Young. Matt?
All righty, guys, we're here with Rhett Vavra, 2 touchdowns today. You got to feel good about that performance, I guess, heading into the playoffs.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Let me ask you, it's win or go home from here. What is this week going to mean?
This week's just one more game in the books, and we got 4 more to go. We're not stopping anytime soon.
Were you hoping to maybe put a couple on the board just to kind of get some confidence as you start to head into the postseason?
Yeah, like we know we have things to clean up, so there's definitely some cleanups there. But yeah, we'll be good for the playoffs.
All righty, well, thanks very much, Rhett Vavra. I appreciate this, and good luck in the playoffs this year.
Thank you very much.
Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Matt Young, Rhett Vavra. Great job today, Matt. Yeah, it's been a great regular season. The playoffs are going to be hot, and we're on the edge of our seat doing updates here out of Edmonton, where the Golden Bears now have the ball, I believe, down on the UBC 24-yard line with just around a minute to go.
Perfect striking distance, end of game. That's exactly what you want. If you're a football player, Darren, you want the ball at the end of the game, and you want that opportunity to win, and that's what looks like that's what Alberta's trying to do right now.
So 12-12 over there. Manitoba is trailing Regina by 6 points over in Regina in the Queen City. And here we'll put a wrap on this one from Saskatoon. It was a beautiful day for football. The Calgary Dinos headed to the postseason, but trying to end it on a positive note. The Saskatchewan Huskies wrapping up a perfect regular season record at home, finished 6-1 and headed towards the playoffs. Plenty to be decided. Catch the end of the UBC Alberta game on Canada West TV and the Regina Manitoba game on the Canada West Showcase now. And until next week for the playoffs, on behalf of Bryce McCall, Matt Young, Dan Plaster, our entire crew, I'm Darren DuPont saying good afternoon from Saskatoon.